and Bans and the Leona. That's two very high priority champions in for the bot lane. Very nasty pick on Vi and Bessa. And of course now that Varus, lots of single target lockdown to go diving onto a key target.
We'll say that Varus is very vulnerable if the rest of the team tries to dive and the Aatrox and Wukong find their way onto that Varus. So there is a little bit of a disconnect there if Light's not in the right position. Put it this way, Waybo's priority is not keeping the Varus safe, it's making sure that you hit the ground first. The Alistar being locked in, I think that makes a lot of sense to me because it is just the very short term you don't kill me champion, which is very important for this kind of thing. I think it's even better than Braum in that way. Because the Braum can do some kind of disengagey play, but the Alistar is much tankier when it comes to it. So, those are our drafts, our first game of Split 2 for LPL being locked in. Best of 1 in this is Group A. Someone was asking about the format earlier. What happens is, we have a group stage, which is a double best of 1 round robin. The top 2 teams go through into Group Nirvana, and the bottom 2 teams, and then the third teams across each group, they play off for the last places into the top group, and then the bottom teams get placed down into, Group Nirvana, and the Group Ascend is the upper group. Basically, we're splitting out into 2 groups over the group stage, and then that will be our competition later to see who qualifies into playoffs. So we'll have the top teams versus the top teams, the bottom teams versus the bottom teams later into the competition. Right, folks, if you're on Twitch, we're going to run some adverts now just before we get into games, so you don't get them in-game itself. If you don't want to see ads, drop a Twitch Prime, stuff like that. I promise you won't miss that much, and we'll see you on the other side. Sam, let's take it away for our first game of the splits.
Oh, pleasure to do so. Again, we've seen our drafts. We know what they're going to do. There's going to be, obviously, with the side of Waybo Gaming, a lot of trying to kill that one target with the Vi's, the Ambesses, the Vels, the Varuses, and the Leonas. GG, much more about that team fight, much more about that brawling. You know, the lights, the cameras are rolling, not for us, they're hidden away. The gameplay, that's another matter, and the action, shortly to care. Should now, of course, just be heading to that rift. There's Boris. Here's the crowd taking it away for now. Two of our more storied organizations here, having a bit of a yelling match.
Yeah,
it's the way we start them out here in the LPL.
Yeah, they do that. So, folks, yeah, sorry about the ads first, but we just need to do that so we don't get them into game. And again, I promise don't miss anything too much, but you know, drop a sub if you're that incensed about it.
That's it. If you want to avoid the ads, we need to not have them in game if we can help them.
There's a question from Mehmed in Onivia's chat as well. By the way, hi Onivia's chat. I hope you're doing well. But no, we're not AI. We are real people.
I'm a real person.
We are real people.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy. Do you mind if I smoke? That's very good. But yeah,
that's a very deep League of Legends reference. Only to those who know the lore of one Papaya Dreaming on Reddit may remember that particular part of history. But there we go. Wink and Hunk. Just looking at level 1. Again, as an Alistar, you don't really have all that much to say at level 1. You can sort of interrupt Leona. That's about all you got going for you.
Hey, I have to say, well, I think there are some lanes where you can get a decent kind of just headbutt away. It's okay level 1 damage. You can push them off the wave as well, which means you can sometimes force yourself through to a level 2. Not in this case, look. Ezreal's just going to be pinging a Q away to make sure they can get themselves to level 2 safely. I was actually saying as soon as this top lane matchup was locked in, as it was pretty early onto the draft agenda, Breathe versus EDZ I think is actually a very core matchup for this game, because Breathe has been a laning monster for much of his career. He took a bit of a dip, but I think in summer last year he really recovered that. Whereas EDZ, he's been a bit more of a mercenary. He's had some high upper levels, but it's been more inconsistent. He needs to have a good game versus Breathe, really, because this is the kind of matchup where Breathe can stomp lane and just take over the entire game. So he needs to not let that happen.
Wait, and Breathe has been very capable of doing it.
That's what AI would say, that they're not I know, right? I'm so sorry. We're deceiving you. My brother's name is Sky and my name is Net. So together we are the Sky.
I'm Blue Pill. He's Red Pill. You take one of us, and the cast continues. Take the other. You see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
They hit level 3. Ooh, it's a big level up.
Into the wall. Pulverize after, just not in time with the shield bash stopping him in place.
Yeah, the shield daybreak stops them from going through the combo. Tien's now bot side at level 4. Ooh, that could be pretty nasty. Xiahou not here right now, but no flashes were blown. See whether that leads to anything. Tien choosing to stay hidden for now.
Does it that. And Xiahou takes the opportunity to take that Scuttle Crab. And then move away from that. Again, on 23 CS for both of them. One of them on both sides have missed a single small Krug. How dare they?
Oh yeah, you can tell from the CS number being odd instead of even.
Yeah. If you're on 23, not 24, it means you've missed a single Krug.
Now the thing is though, for champions like Zyra, you can leave a plant behind and they'll just clean up the dirty work for you. You know, I like to think of Zyra as you know, they're kind of like a plant CEO. They don't really deal in the dirty work themselves. It's the plants which they get to do. Yeah, I feel like really,
people
I really feel like
skills.
it's I feel like the gold should at least be distributed evenly between her and her worker plants.
Yeah, but unfortunately no union available for Zyra's plants. There's not much HP available for Hung either, who may need to flash here. Does so. Flash on forward, trying to get the last autos. Alistair flashes in the end to follow and get that kill.
First blood over to Ard and Wink, the reunited duo in this 2v2. The Dragdar Ezreal build of the lethal tempo coming in really big there to get the extra attack speed and the extra damage on hit after that point. Great double Zedith blade it looked like. Until you realise that Alistair can separate you very, very far away from your teammate. EDG get themselves that first blood, and they get themselves control in this bot lane. Now, this is one of the reasons why I feel better about EDG this split, because last split I felt like, okay, well, Angel's a good player, but assume, you know, he's been fine, but is he enough to really contend with the top teams? And I think the answer last split was no, he wasn't. This one's more on Harden, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. But honestly, Arn and Wink being reunited for themselves with Arn, who, as I've been talking about non-stop really, was really, really good last year, even on a failing IG team. Really good to see him get off to a good start and see if there can be a platform which EDG can threaten with.
That'll be the idea. And again, EDG did end up being slightly better than we were expecting, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And Waybo just about got into playoffs. Wasn't as clean as we might have expected some points, but they are Waybo Gaming. There was a fantastic first best of 5 we saw with Tien and Knavi playing off against each other. There was absolute madness.
Kota asking in chat, do we really need a replay of Leona eating to a bush? Yes, and you're going to like it. So, you know, eat your veggies.
Eat your Leona replay.
Yeah. Question: are we American? No.
No. I'm from the middle of England.
We are quite offensively British.
Offensively, I thought it was more like we're quite careful about the inoffensive part. There's a lot of apologizing.
There's a lot of apologizing.
Sorry about that.
We kind of share that with the Canadians.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's not been that much of an active early game when it comes to it. Junglers splitting the map, and Tien choosing to remain hidden in some of these plays. We do see that top lane advantage starting to come through from Breathe, which is a little bit worrying. We'll see whether that holds up. It's not a big lead, but it's just something to track, right? 10 CS lead, definitely not necessarily something which you want to be seeing all the time.
Certainly not. All the while, though, Tien will be taking a hold of these grubs.
Wait, do we know Robin Hood? Yeah, we grew up around Robin Hood's hometown. We grew up around Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, I used to go cycling there.
Yeah, legitimately, I know the statue of Robin Hood. Tell you what, there's a statue of Robin Hood in Nottingham Castle, which is one of the best Pokemon Go places in Nottingham. Because there are like 4 overlapping Pokestops. So you just sit. That's the most culturally relevant thing I can think of from Robin Hood right now.
Is that culturally? I mean, I suppose it is. Just modern culture.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go and sit down at the pub while you spin Pokestops.
Yeah. It was a nice time, that summer, it sounds like Summer of 69, whatever that song was.
Summer of 69. Sit down. I don't know how you're going to do that for the Pokemon.
I was going to say like the summer of 2016.
Okay.
Because that was when you did it. That was the year when Pokemon Go came out, and we had world peace very briefly for about 2 weeks before the game became really buggy.
I got woken up at 2 AM by my flatmates to go find a Dragonite around the corner.
Oh yeah, damn. Yeah, I had a Lapras hatch from an egg very early, so I have like a 2016 Lapras, which is very cool. And then I kind of stopped playing as well.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay, so is there anything important to talk about in the game? I think we did a lot of our homework, right? We talked about laning phase, we talked about dive from Waybo, EDG, the reunification of their bot lane. Sounds very regal when you're saying that, reunification. Waybo on the other side, you know, this is the roster that we saw do well over the last year and a bit. Of course, they went out first round of playoffs last split because they came up against BLG in the lower bracket. They lost to JDG in their group stage, which put them down into that lower bracket. JDG, of course, made themselves all the way down to that lower bracket finals, very, very close to them. They finished third in the last split overall. Good trading through from ZDZ. But yeah, on the whole, Waybo come through with a decent set of results over the last while, and they might be spoiling for the fight. Wink is off the vision, though. He's got a really good angle here.
Looking for exactly that headbutt over the wall. Wing, beautiful angle. It was exactly that. Unspotted, finds a gorgeous headbutt. Doesn't even need to bow a flash, which he doesn't have. So finds another excellent kill.
Nice run stuff. Wink and on, as we said. That's the real core of what we're looking at for this EDG this split. And they've done really, really well. 2v2 kill, early skirmish kill, 1-0-1 between the both of them. That's a really good start. And Waybo have to play from behind now, which has not been their specialty.
No, it has not. And Tien and Xiaohu in particular tend to want to be the leading edge of the spear. Stan Xiaohu dying that way on kind of an attempted defense of the red buff goes really wrong. We'll have a look here because Wink is going to find a wonderful wraparound. Goes all the way through and then hangs in this bush and then sees people come on over and decides, I have this.
And the other thing too is that it's really important to note that if you look down on the minimap, Varus is already showing on bot wave, so they know there's not even a Varus ult to come through. So it's a real whitewash for EDG. They know they have the numbers, they know the Varus isn't going to be there, and they take the easy fight.
They get the easy kill. Bunny rabbit hunting season it is. And that's about all of that.
So, early kills over to the bot lane of EDG, as we've said already. Topside dive combo still doing fairly well, though. All things said and done for Waybo, as Sam almost spilled his coffee onto himself, which is apparently not where it's meant to go. I hear it's meant to go in your mouth.
Inside, so. Yeah, in the mouth. Yeah.
Tian now on top side. Xiaohu coming up as well. They're looking to dive this Aatrox if they can help it. Yep, let's go for it. ZDZ. Can he stop the wave hitting turret? He's trying to right now.
There's lacerates coming on through for Blurry. Looking to find an angle, but there is that public execution comboed up with Vi. Kill secured. Flash on out. Cleanly done.
Nice run stuff. ZDZ holds the wave to try and get tower on target. It does, but Tien still gets out alive. Wink, I don't think can stop Breathe from getting out here. So it's a clean kill and out. Kill goes over to the Aurora, who's got themselves a healthy gold lead right now. So Waybo still got bang for their buck.
I think in this case it's a bunny rabbit. Exactly.
Bang for their bun.
It's not a buck. There's no stag skin or deer skin as yet for Aurora.
A little bit of a different messaging. Got some bang for your buns. I'm sure the Twitter artists have already done that one.
Oh boy. I am not going down that rabbit hole. That is a dangerous thing to do on air.
Yeah, suit yourself. EDG. Did you reforming and going back up?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Angel, farming up in bot side, going towards the Nash's Tooth first item. Go on, Sam.
No. I'm gonna. Do you know what? We're gonna do the old special of everyone involved, and that is ignore the glaring problem, brush it under the carpet, and talk about the dragon on screen and dead. Isn't that interesting, Alex?
It's very interesting, Sam. We have dragon spawning up second one.
Wow.
Again, 3 for 3 and gross the EDG. I think gonna be safe with this one. No ultimates really available from Waybo. Well, some important ultimates missing rather. They're missing the public execution, the cease and desist, which is not this ultimate better anymore. I need to remember that one. Yes, that's 2 dragons over to EG early, and we have an Infernal Rift, and that's good. Oh, and they've also fixed a bug here, it looks like, because Chemtech for a long time wasn't appearing as the first 2 dragons of the game. So you would get a disproportionate amount of Chemtech souls, because it would appear as third. So nice to see that we have an Infernal Soul on the Rift. Very bursty, of course, for either of these teams, so definitely want to be fighting over that one. 3.5 minutes until Herald spawns. I suppose that's the next thing we set up for. Very slow paced game. Bit tentative here. I actually wonder whether because we've gone back to best... Well, not back to... Because we've gone to best of ones. You know, LPL's never really been a best of one region. Whether that will remove some of the confidence from the team saying, oh, we can give up a game, let's play fast in this one and let's just try and outplay. Because if you make mistakes in best of ones, that's it. The result is done. It's a single game. So, kind of with that in mind, is that perhaps one of the reasons why the game's a little bit more tentative here? We do have teams that can early skirmish, but we've just not seen it.
Not as much, for sure. And of course, Breathe continue to extend this lead topside now. It's not a 10 CS lead anymore. There is a wave to collect, but it's only going to be 5 or so minions. It's going to be close enough, as I said, to a 25 to 30 CS lead, depending on how well this farm goes.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we really highlight. Good drag back though, Xiao!
Away, flash forward from Xiaohao. There's the public execution, but to what end? I don't think there's anywhere for Breathe to go. Great pullback and a little bit greedy from Breathe.
Yeah, Breathe no more. Does not see himself the threat under the turret. Gets pulled back, and ZDZ and Xiaohao pull one back themselves in terms of kills. No World Ender, no Cyclone now, and I don't think there's that much help coming. Here comes the dive.
Teleport now coming on through. Aurora's still going to go between worlds. Xiaohao is immediately deleted. Hung dies, though, as the way out. Flash does not allow Xiaohao to properly escape. The cease and desist by TN a second or two, but it's still going to be enough as Winker's here, and it's a bad dive for Waybo Gaming. It's bunny habit, hunting season, and Wink gonna at least headbutt that one, picks that kill up. Wink on the cow picks up a few.
Yeah, wink and you miss it. Waybo go down under the top lane turret. They trade 3 for 1. 3 for 1, all things said and done. They get the kill on Xiaohao under the turret. But EDG picked themselves up some very good gold there. What were we saying about, okay, well, you know, we're really watching this top lane matchup? Well, for the first time now, it is ZDZ who's ahead. This top side rather, is only really stitched together by the Aurora being slightly further ahead. 700 gold is a good lead, but as we see here, really good wave play from ZDZ, clears out all the remaining minions, gets the pullback under that turret. While he's behind in the game, shows his comfort on the champion. They use both their ults though, so Waybo say, okay, well, they don't have ults, let's go kill them. And then they just disrespect the TP coming through. Winky manages to get through as well. He takes a long time to walk up here. Because look how long it takes him to get up. He, since the start of this play, just roams up from mid lane. It probably takes about 30 seconds to get up here total, but he still gets here for the last part of the play. And Waybo just didn't want the play to last that long. They were not prepared for that, and they lose a lot of kills.
Xiaohao, who on that flash trying to get out, couldn't succeed either.
I just realized
really rough.
That was that was not. I miscalled that. It wasn't a 3 for 1.
It was 4 for 1. Yeah.
Because I completely just misjudged it. It wasn't just the top line sides involved. Hung dies as well. That's disaster for Waybo. Disaster. Only slightly behind in gold now, but still, that's a big swing.
And again, you've gone for a composition that needs to hit like a sniper or a shotgun, right? You need to hit that target really hard, really fast, with little option for a response, and having people get ahead that you want to be diving, having your dive fail so catastrophically is problematic. That Aatrox is no longer an easy target with the Sundered Sky in. We've seen this spike come on through for a few players out there. I'm calling you out, Zeus and 369. We saw that one in the International not so long ago. At least first items are largely completed on the same timing across the board, so Waybo Gaming not out of it yet, but they can't afford another misstep like that.
No, so we've got to see what happens with their first big team fight of the game. Have we already called this out already, by the way? We have ourselves the Ruinous Atacom, which is a very cool thing to see.
That it is. It's become increasingly common to see now as well, which is kind of nice. Before it was, I think we saw all of one, basically, and even then I think it was, actually no, we saw a few in the last weekend of play for LPL, but that was it.
First stand, I think we saw a lot of them, actually. Yes. Teleports come through, first big fight of the game. Waybo, this is where your composition needs to find an impact. Herald going down, will they commit to the fight? Ambassador not in the fight just yet.
There we go. On, lost a third of his HP. Hung eats two-shot barrage, as does Light, but the teleports all fly on through, but that is Breathe looking to shove up topside, pick up some of the blood petals where P and his fallen comrades fell in that top lane dive. They are grave markers.
Yeah, whereas Waybo, they choose not to commit to the fight right now. They push in bot lane with Breathe, they teleport into top to push in that wave as well, but they don't actually commit to the fight. They're feeling a little bit tentative, it feels like. Xiaohao off vision right now.
Heads into the Dragon Pit. Can potentially look over towards that dragon. Doesn't look like anyone's willing to start it off as yet, which is a lot of playing around vision, but no one really willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and that means that the Herald doesn't go down, which is kind of important, so that objective's still able to be fought over. Dragon would be soul point for EDG. Waybo choosing to keep their ammunition fully stocked up, not pull that trigger as he said, but here comes the fight.
Boy, here we go, it'll be a smite fight likely. Xiaohao in the pit, Gears not get it. TN secures the smite fight on the other side. Cyclone comes on through, but the solar flare after Xiaohao's in a lot of danger. Shuffle back into the between worlds. Doesn't mean all that much to Waybo, of course, because it's there between worlds. Breathe very low at the back end of it. Stun onto ZDZ, who's so damn tanky. But shotgun from Aurora with the weirding doesn't work. ZDZ falls too. And EDG try the team fight. It all goes so very wrong.
That team fight is all on Tien. Did you see him just get that Q out of the bush onto the Ezreal? Arn didn't expect it. Manages to set up the point and click from the Aurora because the Ezreal is CC'd right in front of the shotgun range. Arn, big mistake from him in that bot lane fight, and EDG lose themselves what feels like the first big fight of the game around an objective.
It goes very wrong, and that is the gold lead right back in Waybo's favor. The soul stacking is broken. Herald's up as well. They can look to go again. Arm blue flash and cleanse.
Yeah,
Let's have a look again.
But look at this, right? Because the first fight comes, of course, through from the smite fight, and Xiaohao is kind of zeroed down onto. It's a really good ult to follow him through, and that ultimate through the solar flare. I thought ZDZ was going to end this fight because all the big ultimates were down, and he has a world ender running, but he can't quite finish off the kills. Watch what happens here. Tien noses off vision, Arn disrespects it.
Beautiful.
And while, yes, it's right to focus on the Aurora damage, the reason it comes through so spectacularly there is that the Ezreal can't even flash out of it. He's stunned in place by that Viking. Knocked back slightly.
He is, and suddenly Xiaohu is 4-2 on this Aurora, not miles off a Shadow Flame, and I know there's been some debate between various analysts going, look, I'm just not sure about Aurora. There's a difference between Aurora that's not laned that well and Aurora that's come out of the laning phase with 4 kills.
The thing is, I respect that commentary from, you know, First Stand and from other regions and stuff, but, well, actually I say that LCK is playing a lot of good Aurora too. I do think that LCK and LPL regionally have used Aurora very well. I think that particularly in the LPL, we love playing, instead of Vi Ahri or Vi Orianna sometimes, the Vi Aurora is also a really good combo because you can never stop the Aurora ultimate. The Aurora just will always ping that ultimate through and be a very consistent burst source. And now with this much gold, with that, again, the shotgun of the Ludens, you one-shot people. This is how the Aurora is played in the LPL, and it is bloody effective when it's ahead of the game.
Okay. Take a breath. Look at the Herald going down. No more bunny rabbit commentary. We've already been down that dark and dangerous passageway. Carefully. It's not getting better.
You're choosing your words.
It's not getting better is the problem. I chose it more carefully. Just it was similarly not great. So
sometimes
it's just a hole.
Sometimes,
Leave it.
Oh god. ZDC, low HP, Tien has his ultimate, chooses not to pull it right now. ZDC pulls his ultimate and runs away. Oh, here he comes.
Very deep. Here we go. Public execution just shy, but the flash is away. Keep Xiao just about alive. Shield is there. Holds on to his nerve and his life just about.
Oh, breathe. Not quite within range. He flashed at some point in that play. Didn't quite see where that was. Maybe out of range at the start of it. That's an important survival on the top side, though. Means that Angel can stick in bot side, take down that turret, tower for tower trade with no kills involved.
You know, it's actually his feat strength already to EDG, I just realised, because they've already gotten 3 objectives. Oh, tower falling down, but no, they got the first 3 kills, they got the first 3 objectives, but Adakan is up. Here's that Ruinous we've been seeing so much more of as of First Stand, but it's still very, very potent here. All of those blood petals on the ground as well. Grow the roses from the ashes of defeat.
Yeah, 15.4 really changed, really did change things for Pro in terms of how often this objective spawns. And now if we could actually have ourselves this very funny situation where the Ruinous Adakan will give like potentially 4 Infernal Dragons extra buff. It's the Q knockout. The Vi Q knocks it just out of the edge of the hitbox because he wants to continue the CC chain. And Breathe can't quite get himself the extra CC afterwards. That very well timed last Cyclone. Little bit of anti-synergy there between Tien and Breathe. It's often known as the Maokai treatment, where Maokai goes in and then Qs someone out of a skill shot. The knockback for the Dragon Ball Smash tends to do
Had that happen a few times. I used to duo the guy who played Maokai when I played Elise. And every time there'd be a Q, so my cocoon missed, and I went, well.
Yep. Sucks to be you, really.
Yeah, sometimes it just does.
Dragon up in 30 seconds. EDG not on Soul Point because they lost the last one. Down in gold now. They played a mean early game to outplay a lot of what Waybo were throwing at them now, but now you have the problem of this top side of Waybo being goddamn strong and probably removing one of these carries if they play poorly.
Alistair did get a nice locket shield in that last play, and Wink has actually had a really good game. If he can continue to be a bit of a menace on this front line, maybe that'll be a way to keep playing the game. Not led to all that much as yet. Here comes the Dragon again. I think we are going to see a bit of a fight over this one on. Down about 20% of his HP, though. Could be problematic here. Your Ezreal. Normally nice to have on a full HP bar coming into a team fight.
He does have the 2-item spike, though. That's really important. Doesn't manage to knock that spell shield off a light. That is important. Breathe, potentially over the wall. If CC lands onto Arn, there's
Arn.
a chance of a nasty old combo. Will be spotted out there by ZDZ as Breathe starts to ward off the Aatrox.
Tries to, loses the control ward, but there comes the Herald. Another bit of chunk onto Onivia. It's another piercing arrow. And the river is Waybo's.
So, Arn taking a little bit more poke. Shotgun lands onto Xiaohao, and that's half his HP gone. Yeah, Waybo are feeling this. They have themselves the poke Varus, the Aurora, getting 1,000 damage from that combo. God damn, what a champion. As looks like that will just win the dragon. All right, Waybo, use their poke, use their lane control. They get themselves the objective.
I was about to say, do you think Aurora's completed Shadow Flame? And then I saw the evidence of my eyes, and it was in fact a completed Shadow Flame.
Yeah, it does feel. Does anyone remember that Pokemon comic by Shen Comics, which is like when you have that one absurdly over-leveled Pokemon? It's like there's like a Clefable who's like buffed up with an 8-pack. It's like, we're going to this gym now, but I think we should go this way, and I'm the trainer. You are nothing. You do not have the badges to train this Pokemon. As the teleport does come in bot side. Let's see if Xiaohu answers. He can't actually. He doesn't have himself a teleport himself.
Where is the scariest low penny in all the realms? Not coming on over. Does have the teleport though. Public execution just shy. Breathe. Gonna get shuffled back and dies.
Just shy and just, well, the shy there if he's dying alone on a side lane like that. 0 and 2. Breathe goes down. Been caught out a little bit. Is it going to be that consequential though? It's 1 kill, a teleport. You don't do anything else on that side of the map. You lose mid lane turret maybe. Feels like it's a kill for kill's sake. Doesn't have that much value outside of it with no objectives up.
Not really. Chains of Corruption well wide as Arn just keeps walking in a straight line. Tried to read the backstep and didn't see it. So opportunistic ults used to not too much avail.
There's a comment in chat which I think would be fun to dive into. Angel is the only player I can recognize in EDG. What happened to the club? EDG's had some dark years, folks. We had the Doom Squad of 2023 with the Leave and Vampire bot lane, which really struggled. Fisher in the mid lane, also very much struggling on that roster. That was probably the lowest we've seen them, and even with JJ on that roster being as good as we know JJ can be, couldn't do anything with that. Monkey came in, didn't really change that much either. EDG have been slowly building, but they haven't committed to an all-star roster. They've been trying to get some value pieces here and there. And you know what? With the roster they have now, I don't think it's that bad. Last split, they should have done much better than they actually showed with the players that they had on paper. I think Arn coming in completes a bigger part of the puzzle, because I think Arn, for me, yes, you know, he's not had the best game so far. Trust me, this guy can be an absolute legend of the bot lane. The question is, when you're in a team, when you're in a group with Waybo and BLG, is it enough to get top 2 in that? I don't think so. In fact, I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think it was maybe Wink, who his reaction to being drawn into this group was just on Waybo on the social media. CDZ caught out.
CDZ does get bounced around, gets the ult off and a decent shield with the Starex and flashes away to safety. Flash down, Xiaohao now around, but the Aatrox are going to be in the best position to follow up. TP's coming on through, fighting all over a Gromp here, as everyone wants to come in and start playing around this enemy jungle.
Yeah, not sure about that teleport. It is for a blue buff in the Gromp. It's some decent XP and stuff gained for Tien, and Xiaohao is now down 1,000 gold. Xiaohao, a player which I think in 23 really impressed me. Struggled beyond that point, never really had that sophomore split where he could kind of show himself as a top tier jungler again. Wing, fantastic combo!
Headbutt into the flash, pulverize between worlds, keep Xiaohu alive. The rest of the various questions of Xiaohu and when, and what for that matter, not available in this game, but Xiaohao couldn't find the engage.
Wink, really slick combo. That 2-0-1 on the Alistair, by the way. He's had a pretty fun Alistair game. He's a very good Alistair player, but I've enjoyed him playing that historically. But this is the bringing it back to what we were talking about before. That's a nice moment from EDG, and this game hasn't been without nice moments. But is it enough against a team which has been a finalist? They've been a strong team within the last year. Is it enough to take a victory against Waybo? And also, you're in the same group as BLG. Yeah, BLG. Suspect in best of ones, we'll call it that, but EDG, you can't just have good moments. You do not want to be fighting it out for survival in that bottom group if you finish as bottom 2 in the groups.
No, you do not. Angel eats a few Drakehound step autos and the rest of it there from Ambessa. Continues to be absolute menace at this point. Angel is trying. He's got 2.5 items. The Azir will eventually become more and more of a threat. He's up a fair amount of CS, though. He's been side laning a lot this game.
And of course, Angel is one of the players which has been very, very strong in the past. A world finalist back on Suning in 2020. Azir has been one of his choice champions over his career. It's been one of his more strong picks. He's been pretty decent, again, over the last year or two. And most of the time I look across EDG and say, I look at the individual players and go, yeah, you know what, actually not bad. Maybe not elite in all cases, but not bad. And they should be able to make something work for themselves. Last split, it felt like they never really got on the same page strategically. They were very sloppy at playmaking. And EDG, well, they ended up bombing out last in their group.
Somehow, someway.
TT ended up going above them. Oh, it was LNG and EDG, they were bottom. So I believe LNG were the... Yeah, I think LNG ended up finishing just below them. Hey, whatever. They performed poorly back in that last split.
Picture in picture, we did see Waybo Gaming got a hold of that second dragon. EDG not really in a position to come and contest it. Yeah. Third dragon. Now 3 Infernal Dragons to Waybo Gaming.
And worth noting, folks. Oh, hang on, that's a great catch.
Oh, Wink again. Problematic. Decent turnaround from TN to at least get the ult off. Between worlds! Breaks them all into the afterlife. That's which world they're heading to. It's Hades. Massive combo. Despite TN going down, he brings multiple people with him after the team follows up.
Xiaohu takes on the role of Charon as the river turns into the Styx, and that ult brings EDG swiftly to their demise. That'll bring them towards the Baron. Jungler or no, Waybo, fantastic combo, and that fed bunny rabbit puts EDG in the dirt.
6 kills now on the Aurora. They head towards the Baron, and with the purple worm to their name, with the fact they've already got this Ruinous Atakan as well, they are now in a fantastic spot in this game.
That was an insane combo from what started as a pick onto the Vi, onto the jungler, which should have been such a big game changer for EDG. Turns into disaster. We'll watch it back in the replay as, you know, Tian looking for something. He's level 17. He is very, very fit. He's higher XP than Breathe at this point, partly because of the Atakan. Great combo onto him, but Starix comes through, passive shield comes through, and then all of your CC is used. Breathe gets into the backline, and look at this. Incredible damage coming through from Xiaohu and crew as EDG just completely fall apart. And there's what can you say about that? You use all of your CC to try and get that one pick. You have nothing left for the follow-up fight.
No, you do not. 3 items now completed across the board. You've got 3 minutes until the Infernal Dragon. And they can start shoving onto these tier 2s.
And one of the things which really helped that fight, by the way, folks, this is the Teehee funny situation, folks, where you have the Ruinous Atakan buffing up your dragons. Now, it is already funny enough getting 3 or 4 Infernal Dragons. Now, add an extra 25% value onto them. And instead of having 4 Infernal Dragons, you have 5 instead because of the extra Atakan. If they get the extra dragon, it's like having, you know, an extra death cap or like extra half a death cap on there. It's like half an extra hat. As Waybo, they're very, very happy.
How does one wear half a hat?
On just one side of your head. Okay. You know, yeah, it's like when Ash Ketchum puts his hat backwards. It's like it's like an extra power boost.
I see.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Ruinous Atakan is turning your hat.
It's turning your hat backwards.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big dive.
That's not turning your hat backwards. That's putting the hat on someone's face to make sure they can't see them dying a horrible, horrible death.
Close your eyes, it'll be over soon. Waybo take themselves the inner turret and a kill. EDG smashing the map now.
There they are. Waybo Gaming up 9,000 odd gold. And it's not getting smaller anytime soon. Arn
so funny,
just gets run on. He hops forward and regrets his life very quickly after Tien comes over the wall.
Not his best debut game, I will say. Yeah, he's just kind of eaten a load of bad combos in this game and got absolutely dunked on by Tien. Tien has had Arn's number this entire game. That's 3 inner turrets in the Baron push. Tien is quite low, needs to be quite careful here.
Shuffled away, Tien actually getting burned down. I think he just died. Try and get something off! Sonya's comes on through, Xiao should be able to get this, does finally get it, but my days. Angel lucky to be alive.
Level 18 Vi with a passive shield, a Sterax, a Sundered Sky, and just way too much gold all in all. Bree takes down a turret. This has been a 4-turret push in the Baron power play, almost a 5k Baron power play. Waybo leaving no prisoners here. This is not close now.
Minute until Infernal Soul for Waybo Gaming. EDG, I think if you don't fight this, it really is lights out. I just don't know how easy that's going to be. You're still stuck at 2 items on a few of your carries, at least the Azir. has 3. At least the Ezreal has 3, but they are going to have to put in some Herculean effort here to stay ahead of this damage that Waybo have on the combo.
I was about to say, like, isn't the golden fleece going to come from like a lamb instead of the Aurora? But
yes,
yeah, that's one of the trials of
Hercules. No, it's Theseus. It was the Argonauts, wasn't it?
Yeah, true. I'm kind of crossing by various threads of mythology.
Was
now,
Hercules an Argonaut? Hercules an Argonaut?
I think he was actually, funnily enough, for a little while. But the Argonauts is weird because it's kind of like it's the original Avengers.
Yeah.
It's
a Greek mythology team up.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of yeah. Man, they should do that. They should do that.
Some kind of League of Legends. Are we some kind of Argonaut squad?
After Nolan's done with the Odyssey, you should do an Argonauts one. That would be actually really fun. Anyway, dragon spawning in 15 seconds. Time to see if we can get ourselves the promised land of 4 infernal, ruinous Aurora one-shotting the entire team. EDG, they're in the river first. Hung walking up blind currently. Does get into the river unharmed.
That. There's the control wall put down. Xiaohu over the back. Looking for the between worlds. Gets it across a few. Into the back line. He goes. Oh, dies! No! Gets the combo down at least, but the rest of the fight's going to be interesting. They still won the Infernal Soul afterwards, but they are down 1 rabbit for it. Breathe into the back line. Just goes Drake out, stepping through him, but I think he might still die. Still gets a few with him! Oh my days, Omnivamp! He's breathing heavy. He's breathing hard. The rest of EDG are breathing no more.
Ambessa gets a 9,800 damage team fight because they have 4 Infernal Dragons buffed up by a Ruinous Atakan. Breathe Omnivamps his way through the entirety of EDG and will win our first game of LPL Split 2 for 25.
Holy moly, once the combo started coming online, it looked harder and harder for Edward Gaming. There was not so much gaming to be done at the end. Oh my days, Ambessa. That team fight was just a bit silly.
And yeah, I appreciate the cosplay long wigs. It's hard to keep them done. Appreciate your cosplayers, folks. Rel is locked in. It's not Leona, and the Alistair comes in from BLG, one of On's better champions actually. I have to say, this is one of BLG's most comfortable comps I can think of. Very good laning power, very good combos all across the map. Double melee for the Sejuani. WE. The problem they run into now is if one of BLG has a pop-off game, the game becomes quite hard. I think maybe WE could have played towards heavier tank to abuse the full AD composition from BLG. They haven't.
WE, Monkey, of course, coming over from EDG, where he's playing for a long time in their academy roster. Monkey to be playing for the team formerly known as World Elite. WE now for a few years, but that is the lineage of that squad. Can they find the win here against BLG, who disappointed bluntly in Split 1, fumbled playoffs, were very mortal in groups as well, lost a best of 5 to Thunder Talk Gaming. That was an eyebrow raise to say the least. And sometimes known for being a little lackluster in those best of 1s, but it is, as Al said, a very BLG-esque comp. Some of their players on some of their very best champions with some good synergies in there. A little low on the magic damage. And in fairness, I'm not sure it's going to matter all that much if they get a couple items to their name. There's the lights. The cameras are rolling. Action should not be far away at all.
Welcome back to the LPL, folks. It is Split 2 day today. Our first day of the new Split best of 1s in our placement stage to seed us for later into the competition. BLG, of course, come in heavy favourites, despite the fact they didn't even make finals last Split, but that is just the team they have built themselves up into be. Let's get back onto the Rift and hear the Gyos.
Gyos completed. Tayun backs away. And there's our little bit of an AI stat graph. That AI, like that's it's like, I don't know what you call that, like the predicted graph of the future.
I mean, well, okay, so just want to throw something out there, by the way. AI is a marketing term. AI is not actually AI, it's machine learning.
Yeah.
It's just that people have now used it as a buzzword. It's not actually intelligent, it's just iterative. And it just keeps iterating time after time, and it's not actually that intelligent. But anyway,
it's possible to iterate to a whole.
Sam, you know what it will be? It will be computer modeled would be the way to say it. As we get ourselves, once again, like a fight for that level 2. Alistair doesn't really help you that much, so you're just looking to get as many minions down low as possible, and make sure you can get yourselves Q for level 2 from Ezreal. It's one of the reasons he's so strong right now. Very hard to abuse the level 2 to level 1 spike.
That's exactly it. Mount Up comes on through and on. Gets an aftershock off at least, so loses a little bit of HP, but it's not really all that meaningful. Level 2 race still on. I think it'll be just about one by BLG, but these minions getting quite low. We'll see exactly how it goes. There's the level 2 matched on that one. On headbutts Taeyun away. Now a hop forward from El, because Vampire eats a lot of damage, has to flash away. There's the barrier after. Ends up being flash down for this Rel, ignite down, and barrier down on the other side.
And this is Vampire too, right? You know, a guy that he doesn't have flash, but his laning phase is one of the better parts of his game. If the 2v2 is not going well, then you start to worry. That's one of his strongest points. Monkey's coming down. It is a full 3v3. Now, this might change things quite a lot. No flash on Vampire to follow up. Might use the Hex Flash. On needs to be careful.
Here we go, there's a stun onto On, does have the flash, gonna try and use it, tries to read it with the pole, but Monkey holds and gets the kill. Nice, Boom.
So, Vampire loses the initial 2v2, but comes back with a vengeance with that Hex Flash. Good 3v3. And once again, this has been a historic problem of Elk and On. They just lock into the 2v2 and forget that the map is happening around them. They get very easily 2v3'd. It has been a historic weakness of them. On goes down, and that is a worry for BLG, because what did we say? Their floor is very poor when players like Way, Elk, and On have a bad day.
I'll say great pathing from Monkey, who does his red side first, then hops into the Dragon Pit to avoid any wards and cheat out where people think he's going, because he clones over there to get into the river and then gets up towards that Tri-Brush before BLG can get any more wards and have the second spawn of wards. So, you know, for all that it was a little bit disrespectful there from On in the terms of the recall position, also just great pathing from Monkey.
So, yes. However, if you're playing that hard in a 2v2, you must expect the 3v3 coming through. They didn't have the right wards, they didn't have the right scouting, they had no idea on the jungle. In a pro-level game, as one of the best teams in the world, you must be able to see that. If it were another team, a lower tier team in the LPL, I would say, okay, fair play. Because this BLG meant to be one of the best teams in the world, I expect better from them. This is a failure of them to scout the jungle and appropriately see themselves safely into a 3v3 situation.
Way. They are the ones who give up the first blood. Creative pathing aside, did slow down Monkey fairly significantly because of the roundabout route he had to take to get to bot lane, but I think in some ways he'll be happy enough with that kill coming on over nonetheless.
It slows him down a little bit, but he doesn't get double crabbed. He gets all of his, he's going to be maybe one camp behind, but getting that first kill, completely happy with that. So actually, all things said and done, BLG don't have an appropriate punish for that slowdown coming through. Another Hex Flash going to come through as Elk does not have E, presumably has Flash, but another bad TV2 coming through from them.
Brutal. There's the Ignite back off. Cooldown immediately used. Vampire takes a chunk back, but that's a support with the refill potion. Very happy with that one. Nice play from Vampire.
So now you have that kill and the summoner advantage in that 2v2, and the Hex Flash has started to come through. As we said, Vampire, one of his better parts of his game is that 2v2, and getting some value out of that now because of Elk and On, as we said before, slipping up in that around that early pathing. It's kind of, you know, in that solo queue where it's like, hey, jungler's gonna be bot at like 3:30. Okay, 3:30. First blood. Ah, someone forgot about those timers, didn't they? But still. Now we need to see what W do to bring that across the map. We have Grub spawning in a minute. Resets coming through from the bot lane. We might have that bot lane going out onto the top side of the map. And indeed they are. Taeyan going to his top side. Vampire doing that diagonal reset. This is a tip for you support players, by the way. If you look on the minimap, instead of resetting towards top lane, if you're moving towards that side, go towards here. Go towards mid lane, because by the time you meet the wave anyway, you can just walk down there anyway. You don't need to be the one last hitting the minions. You can just be active on the top side of the map and don't have to walk straight towards bot lane, towards your lane of choice, really. And you can see right here, he does exactly that and catches Bin.
Oh, nice angle, and BLG, there's too much there in the sense that Bin stays alive, doesn't have burn all that much, loses 25% of his HP bar, but not too much more than that. Wanted to get a ward down, and instead loses his control wards. WE on that rotation now, going to be a good position to start up those grubs, which Monkey is already on.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is just a very typical rotation up towards the top side. Grub's been Doesn't have to blow his flash, that's fine, I suppose. Good combo coming in from Elkanon, but Cube, having built up a cloth armor early and having the grasp is a little bit tankier, so it doesn't really take that much damage. WWE, decent start from them, 1,000 gold ahead. Where's on bot side with level 6? Don't really think you want to be... I don't think this is a very successful dive, actually. You've got 3 cookies on Kree Cube, and you do have the grasp as well.
Here we go.
I actually think this is quite dangerous for BLG. There's a chance Cube outplays this.
He's gonna try. Headbutt, Pulve, Glacial Prison, okay. No outplay at all.
He stands next to the wall and gives the full combo for On. That is a bit of a misplay from Cube. Does not flash out from parts of the combo and gives the full separation of the headbutt and the Pulve. On gets good value. The Ignite stops any of the healing coming through. And Cube does not get the outplay.
No, he does not. It's the Sejuani that picks up the kill bin. Forced off his tower here. Kind of just has to deal with the fact that there's people in his lane he'd rather not. And the lane swaps come on through just, 5 minutes later than they normally would.
Yeah. Came around for the grubs, stopped around for a little bit more after that. 3 grubs opposite side of WE. Dragons up to BLG, so it's the objective trade. But as it stands, WE getting good value from those plates. They're pretty happy with that. Cube teleports back towards bot side. He's not missing that much out. Everything said and done. Haven't really had to talk about mid lane because lane swaps tends to kind of invalidate mid lane a little bit for a little while. It's like, okay, you'll turn up at a fight of 1 item, I suppose. So we'll yet to see whether BLG can really get any value out of those solo lanes.
That will be the question next on people's minds as game stabilized at that kind of 800 or so gold lead for WE, which is solid enough, but they will want to try and turn this into something more meaningful as the game goes on. Laning phase otherwise relatively stable, slight lead for the Aurora, abusing that range v melee option, and Jace also up a significant amount versus the Ambassador, who did have to drop a wave or 2 as people were shoving her under tower.
Yeah, it was Jace teleporting to get that extra wave, whereas been backed off and couldn't really do the same on the other side. So WE slight lead, BLG snoozing a little bit. We have known them to do that in regular season and the first game of a series, and well, guess what, in best of 1, there is only the first game of a series.
There is only one.
This is, folks, if we haven't said it enough, we're worried about BLG in best of 1s. This could actually be a problem for them. They're in a group with, I know that EDG got blasted earlier. I can see a world where EDG can get something there. Vampire has flash tonight, just need to be a little bit careful here. And of course, Waybo in the group too, who are no slouches at all. So BLG need to be careful, actually, in this kind of format. They can't afford to drop random games, and early 2v2 mishaps, which are very easily preventable like that, are definitely not things we want to see.
Question is actually Monkey's going to come on over and fight this wolf. We might have to wait on this one a second. Okay, I think Way's fine.
Good XP lead for Way, actually.
Question about whether this is the patch where Yoni has his Unbound Soul changed on his E to prevent the cleansing of CC on the recast, or is that next patch?
I think that's next patch coming in. Okay, actually, no, folks, I don't know whether anyone knows whether the Neferi patch is also the same one that Yone has the thing. I think it's just on PB right now. But yes, what will happen there is Yone won't get his crit debuff, so you'll get full power crits, which is kind of terrifying.
Significant.
However, basically, if he presses E while he before he CC'd, the CC will continue through to the end of his E. So you can still cover up part of that CC animation. It'll still be good to disengage from plays, but it doesn't mean that you get to ignore the CC completely now.
Which was, in fairness, a bit of a ridiculous outplay option. I can see why that is being removed. Still, though, you were talking about Way having that early experience lead. It is nearly 2. It is in fact just a level and a half. It's nearly 2 levels actually for Way, which is very significant. It's just been power farming, right? We saw that early play from Monkey, but why Way was just full clearing every time. Wondered whether it might lead to not all that much, but as it stands, Way's been pretty efficient and hasn't been gremlining too much, which he was known for at points last year.
Yeah, bits and pieces. You'll see in the bottom left what patch it is coming up, because I normally have my socials down there, because it's nice to have something personalized on screen while we do that. BLG, I just need to claw back a little bit of the gold that they lost earlier. Getting the grubs is important too to stop. Hang on, we might actually get a fight around. This is a deep teleport coming through. Big engage coming through.
Glacial Prison comes on down. And Cube is not having a very fun time. Flashes out, buys some time. Monkey throws down the Cyclone. Doesn't get that much value from it as the public execution ensures that Monkey sees not all that much more but a grey screen. But Elk dies. How on earth did that one happen? Just gets caught up. Nice headbutt Pulve into the Fate. Sealed, though, means Vampire's getting staked. goes down as well, and they have to back away, having lost the additional member. They have no smite. This should just be BLG contesting.
Oh, the irony of the vampire being staked by a cow, of all things. On gets a fantastic three-man combo, and Vampire can't get himself one of those big teamfight wombo combos that he prides himself on. BLG, they do walk away with 3 grubs. They do walk away with a handful of kills, and also the gold lead. No idea how Elk ended up dying in the midst of that. That's a big mistake from him, but BLG managed to clutch out the rest of the fight.
While BLG were running down Monkey, like, I'm caught in the river. We'll have a look now as the replay comes on. So it's BLG starting up the grubs as everything kicks off.
This is a really good play to just stop the Jace having any value. He doesn't have teleport. You know, even if the HP, even if you don't get the HP to 0, it's still a good combo coming through. And Karis, he just uses the deep TP. Vampire goes straight onto Elk, uses that flash there, and they do take out the Ezreal. But then you've used 2 big ultimates and an ignite there, and the problem with this kind of combo is that because the Sejuani has triple melee with the Alistar too, once you're locked into a fight, it doesn't matter if there's no AD character to really clean things up, you do kind of lose.
On, gets jumped, doesn't need to pop the ultimate, doesn't have the ultimate. Now Bin, potentially in a spot of bother, trying to clear out this wave fast as they can. Dragon now secured. That's an unfortunate bit of passing from Cube into Belfast. The True Shot Barrage clips him as well. Unbinds the soul. Mortal Steel will help slide Knight through and secure another kill.
Ult coming through from Karis. Vampire might get himself a combo, and he does. Great cancel out.
On's having a really good Alistar game, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, his laning phase was suspect, but his combo breaking has been really, really good. It really was just not respecting the jungle path. This is the problem with Elkadon. I love these players when they get to actually play the game. I just hate the fact that they just get the blinkers on. They don't have to play with a bloody mini-map for half the game. It's really annoying because this team can be so goddamn good, but they just make some very preventable errors, which make... And I have to be that disappointed dad. Just be like, guys, come on. We've seen this before. What do we know about junglers pathing bot lane? Look, we know how On is on Alistar. Fantastic plays there. Why can't that be the focus of the game rather than throwing an easy 2v2 early?
Yeah. Let's have a look again. There's, this is the engaged top side. On holds his nerve. The Shadowing Strike comes on through, but headbutts out the crash down.
I mean, the last couple of fights have kind of been supportive, which is a nice turnaround. Because, you know, the 2v2, as we said earlier, went well for... Well, the 3v2 went well for Taeyeon and Vampire. 2 dragons now for BLG, 3 grubs. I think they're in a happy place now. You have good solo lane advantages. You have Yone and Bessel with the Sejuani. WE will be getting to the point where they have a bunch of plated steel caps. It'll be very easy for them to, like... shrug off bits of the physical damage of BLG, but they also lost the feats of strength, so they don't even get the empowered boots, which would have been really nice this game. Of all things, this would have been fantastic. To get those empowered steel caps would have been really, really nice. BLG, I think they're in a happy place now.
They are towards the tier 1 they go. Knight unbinds the soul, gets an auto or 2 off, but doesn't overplay for that one. It's actually 2 levels up on Cube. This Yone is quite a way ahead of the curve. And poor old Cube, having died twice, is not enjoying the fact that he is still struggling to hit level 10. Another minion or so should do it. Still not the best spot for him to be in.
Yeah, and we just saw there as well, the patch is 15.6 or 25.6, because we've kind of changed the nomenclature a little bit there. So it is the Neferi change patch, but the Yone patch, I believe, is PB currently. So we don't have the changes to Yone. I think... I'm actually not sure it'll always be a nerf. It means you have to play differently. You're more bursty, but slightly less safe. Wade does have ult, does have flash. Taeyeon might have to try and dodge out here, and he does!
Oh my days, that looked point or blank. Not point blank, spot on is probably the word I was actually looking for, but Taeyeon actually just out of range of the stun.
Looks absolutely pixel perfect. Vampire, level 6 level. He's 5 levels down on the unit. Buddy, you do not want to be checking that one. That is a very anemic rel.
Yeah, Alistar up that level right now. Both supports been roaming a fair amount. Tries to go looking for Elk, who hops away. Fair amount of damage down to Wave, flashed out himself. Stays alive then, the Cyclone down, but you're going to get a couple summoners out of that at the very least. But Vampire's flash for Wave's flash. Yeah. Much for muchness.
About to say, if you get the flash out of Elk, I call it worth. Getting the flash out of the Sejuani, no. I think you need to be playing for carry catch on Vampire. So... bit awkward there. Also, you don't get to break the lane pressure, which is a bit sad. Knight, very, very happy again. Like, he's 6 levels up on the support. The roaming supports do not feel particularly happy, I suppose, in that one. At least Alistar gets to play around ultimate. Rel doesn't. Rel's going to get absolutely blasted if they catch anything before they get their engage combo.
Yeah, again, a lot of Rel's resist comes from hitting multi-man ultimates. You get more resist the more people you hit with your ults. And if you don't have either aftershock or your ult being hit, you have no resists, and you kind of cry quite a lot.
I actually didn't know that was a thing for
Yes,
Rel.
it is.
You've actually taught me something there.
Yeah,
I
it's a
didn't
big
know. Damn, I had no idea, actually. That's kind of huge. There's Knight walking forwards, using those 3 grubs, missing all... Well, he doesn't take tower aggro, but he does miss everything onto Karis, which is a bit annoying. Karis, of course, came over from the LCK at the start of the year onto Team WE. That's a catch onto Vampire, who doesn't have Flash now, remember. He needs to be a little bit careful. Frost comes through, Heartsteel not able to be procced there. Herald is up and available. Losing HP on your support is pretty big before things like this. Knight just continue... Oh, that's a big combo.
Ooh, Karis did not enjoy that.
And you can just see that Karis is potentially going to be at a point now. Knight's going to take the turret. He has teleport, will be fine. So he can teleport. He can back and teleport back in. Knight using that thing which Yone does and just becomes really obnoxious to side lanes. Monkey flashes out of Sejuani ult.
He does. Backs away on this one.
So Herald still up and alive. BLG just slowly rolling through the game. The fact that Yone can take out side lane turrets really nice. Now you've lost your advantage in the Ambessa versus the Yone matchup. Knight has the empowered Berserker Breeze as well, so a little bit of extra stats there, going towards the second item, which will be Shield Bow eventually. BLG are now getting towards the point where for me, it's quite hard to see them lose a big fight. Because it feels like the Ambessa can win you a fight with 1,000 gold lead, the Yone can win you a fight from even gold, Ezreal's about to hit 2 items as well. If one person has a pop-off fight, quite hard for WE to stop one of their carries hitting the floor. You don't have good tanks. I thought that with a full AD composition, this would be a problem for BLG. No, WE don't really have that tanky champions. If they'd gone for a Leona, maybe it would have been a different way. Doesn't really care about this damage right now. Doesn't have the ult, doesn't have the flash, does need to be a little bit careful. Dragon up, WE will potentially be angling towards that, but Knight has bot lane control right now, which is cutting off some of their options.
Oh yes, and again, Knight is not a known quantity right now. He could be on a very dangerous flank here. On goes in, public execution ensures Karis has nowhere to go.
Blink and you miss it. Karis is gone. They put the rabbit back into the hat and stuffs them away into the graveyard. BLG take themselves the dragon. WE, yeah, they lost control of the setup.
Rabbit hunting season.
It is rabbit hunting season, as Elmer Fudd actually does the thing which he couldn't do in the show and actually, you know, confirms the hunt. Dragon goes down. BLG, soul point.
What's up, Doc? Well, Mr. Aurora, Miss Aurora. It's terminal.
Wow. What the hell?
I mean, she's dead. What would you say? It was.
Yeah, they are just dead. Be silent. Vampire on the flank has Hex Flash. There is a chance of a big Rel combo here. Elk doesn't have cleanse. Oh, they go towards the engage already.
Boy, gonna try to Hex Flash. We're just too late. Here comes Vampire. But the damage is done.
Well, it was onto the clones, so no, it wasn't actually.
I take it back. Knight in danger. On now, actually having a moment. His bid is TP'd in. On is actually not having a great time. Does finally go down. They get Knight as well. Oh no! Vampire's still alive, and I was exactly wrong. I got baited by the clone Elk. It's hunting season. Stayu's now got an angle. Bid's gonna try and get something. Does so, but he's the only man remaining.
Don't worry, folks. It's too late, says Initialise.
I know. Oops. I thought that Hex Flash was gonna be late.
It's all onto the clone. BLG throw their ultimates into Monkey's Warrior Trickster, and suddenly WE reclaim themselves a gold lead. They'll get themselves the Herald, and BLG, a little bit embarrassing from that.
They got baited hard by the clone. I saw Vampire Hex flashing with a teleport. I thought, hang on, this collapse is going to be brutal. Because we'll go right back to the Dragon fight, which was good for BLG.
This one's much better, right? Where it's a great flash combo from On, manages to catch Karis, not at Tyone, of course, as well, but it's a good pick, leads through onto the Dragon. That's all well and good, but then are we going to get a replay of the big fight which just happened up in towards topside? I guess not. I guess we'll spare the blushes of BLG there. As replay potentially just not ready. WE managed to get away with a Herald. They don't, of course, stop the soul point, but BLG, come on. You can't throw that much into a clone and expect yourself to win a fight.
I want to see that replay because we saw Vampire prep for the Hex Splash and I was thinking, okay, well, he's just not there and it's going to be a 5v3.
There we go. All right, so that's the ult into that. Tyone does get caught, but it's just out of range. Cyclone buys a lot of time. And, you know, Ambessa comes in, but it's a bit late. It's not a great E positioning from Knight, who doesn't actually get himself an ult onto the right targets. He ends up going flicking back straight into the
enemy team, yeah.
Well, straight back into the Aurora. Melee Ranger just shotguns him. Elk also just ends up in multi-person fight at this point. I mean, Knight doesn't even get himself a combo. He doesn't get himself his ult in this play. So BLG, big mistake from them on popping the ult.
Goes forward, trying to save this turret as the Herald comes on down to it. It does so. Will cost him that ult and a bit of his HP bar, but the turret is successfully defended.
What is happening from BLG, man? Another missed ult from Way. He had a good early game, but this one's becoming a little bit awkward as he's now 1,000 gold behind. After he had almost a full level advantage on Monkey, Way's lead is now just evaporated. So, BLG, we return back to that awkward, hanging question. So, best of ones, huh? And BLG's answer is, well, I don't know. They've just been kind of largely vibing with it. We see the replay of what happened down in the bottom left picture is, yeah, they defend that turret, but they lose the chunk on it, and they blow a load of ultimates too. Not clean execution from BLG. Come on, you're meant to be one of the best teams in the world. You gotta do better than this.
You do. Monkey, a LDL call-up. Had a mixed time of it on EDG, was put into a really rough position nonetheless. And replacing JJ and the rest of it. Trying to give Fisher a bit of backup before, of course, he's now over in the LCK. Now over on WE. Having a really good time on his Wukong. He's got 2 items. The Trinity Force Black Cleaver is a hell of a spike for Wukong.
Yeah. And particularly once you get towards what I think it's going to be a Death Stance next, actually. From Death Stance, if you get Death Stance and Steel Caps, Monkey could be a huge issue. Because you are full AD, we have highlighted this multiple times. We said, oh, well, it's not going to be the biggest problem. It is still a problem. Especially as you highlighted the Wukong passive before too, and now closing that experience gap, Monkey is going to be a really annoying champion for BLG to deal with.
And by the way, I went and looked up exactly where Rel gets her assist from. It's the passive.
I know
Great
it's the passive, yeah.
So what it is, basically, the more people you hit, namely like a 5-man ult, you get...
Well, no, it's for the auto attacks.
Any abilities.
I didn't realize that, because I know before it used to be you auto attack people and used to steal resist, which is a
Which is basically
pain.
what you do. You do that, but if you hit multiple people with the right Magnus, you steal everyone's resist.
That's the thing. I didn't know it applied on her abilities. I knew it applied on autos, not on that. Anyway, that's important too. No, Vampire doesn't have flash. Great combo on though from Karis, and suddenly the Alistar, half HP, has to recall 30 seconds till Dragon. I think they have to give this one up. I think what BLG will be doing is trading Dragon for top lane turret, some extra gold onto Knights. I don't really think BLG want this game to go that long though. If they're giving up Dragon, slowing down the game, it means that more armor gets to be built up with W. And yes, they don't have a true hyper tank. It's still going to be a problem. Knight will get himself that top lane turret. Will they go towards the Dragon fight as well? On is back out onto the map, has the Celestial position. They could teleport in with Knight. They don't want to let this go if at all possible. They're recalling now on that Yone. See whether they can bring them into the play.
Ooh, righty then. Dragon started. Chunk comes on through. It is BLG trying to force their way into the river. The easiest right now, but he's got a control. Monkey goes on in. That's a decent return combo from Ombre, will likely diver. Bin missed his ult! Oh no! Monkey and Vampire getting a trade on that, but Bin will still get one at the back end of it. Means the support for a support is Bin. Now in a difficult position. There's Knight! Flash ult gets a hold of Karis. They'll lose their top laner in trade. It is currently a 2-for-2. Way steps on forward, trying to frontline. Dragon secured. Soul for BLG.
Not the cleanest fight, but they get what they came for. They get themselves the soul, and BLG trade 2-for-2 overall in kills. Bin missed his ult somehow in that play onto a stunned target. Bit of a mess from him. On his 2-item spike, you'd expect this Ambassador to be absolutely ruining the fight. Doesn't quite happen. Ends up being really Way Knight comboing up to get the value after that. BLG lose a bit of presence on the maps. They will lose a chunk on this bot lane turret. Don't lose the whole thing. WE, they'll be kicking themselves a bit for that one. They had so much better setup for the play, but Karis ends up getting caught out in the worst of situations, and they can't capitalize on what should have been great setup of that Dragon fight. I think there are some questions in chat, by the way, in terms of what patch it's on. It is on 0.6. 0.6 is our patch. Bin misses that ultimate. Means he can't get into that play particularly well. Yeah, he ends up kind of spinning to winning beyond that point, but ends up blasting beyond that point. It really is Knight that saves this play by making sure that Karis is out of the play. I think if Karis gets another round of cooldowns, maybe BLG just fall apart. This is really worrying. Again, they have the full AD composition, and let's just start tracking off some of this armor on the other side. You have, okay, we won't do that because you're gonna
see an advert, Alex. What you're gonna see?
I see an advert. Yay, adverts for
my favorite
for drinks and stuff. Cool. I mean, Chemtech Soul definitely helps BLG, but as we get through to
now.
So we have this is armor, this is armor, this is armor, and this is some armor too. It goes for the Moltres because of the CC, means you want to be I mean, yes, against Sejuani, you definitely do want some Merc Treads in the team, for sure. I don't disagree with that, but still.
What this does... just completed by the Wukong,
so it's not Death Dance, it's GA instead, so Monkey gets to play around one big fight. That's important. PLG have themselves Chemtech Soul. That means Elder Dragon's on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Next big dragon fight will be that. You have the Ruinous Atakan. BLG will be happy to snap that one up. Of course, they get the... If they get that, they get the 4 dragons buffed up by the Ruinous, whereas W, they don't get that much. They get 3 grubs, and that's it. So, much less value in the Atakan for W now, but they just want to deny it from BLG. Grouping up, seeing if they can push down this mid lane turret finally.
It's likely gone. There's only 2 members over here. Way now looking for an angle. Elk does a decent job of escaping from under the Magnetor. Goes Bin! Misses again! And it means he can't get into the fight. At least weighing on out to dry. Knight finally here, but so is Cube. Knight finds a good fate sealed. Spares some of the blushes of BLG. GA down. Taeyun trying to run away as Ben keeps hopping forwards. But now actually the rest of the side of WE can keep running a blast code away. Keeps Knight alive for a moment, but Taeyun still keeps following. Bin tries to get something at the back end of it and can't. Atakan's up. The big fight is here.
Jesus, Bin, you can't be missing your ults like that. This Ambessa has so much of a lead and can't use so much of it. Bin has flash. He might go for a 1v4, gets one, might be able to stop parts of this Atakan.
Remember, the resists are being shredded, but Bin is dead as well. Into his namesake he goes.
Bin gets blasted by Cube, who'd stacked up his Shojin onto the Atakan. And he goes down for free. The flowers will be fully taken by WE, and they'll be happy with that one. The War of the Roses going into their favor now. No Civil War intended. Good take of that mid lane turret, and Elk, of course, just doesn't have the flash to get out of that one. Bin misses his ult. Taeyun W's out of it. That's a big miss, because it takes him how much longer now? About 10 seconds to get into the play? How long does it actually get him? Yeah, about 10 seconds extra to get into the play. Imagine how much extra damage you get from 10 seconds of DPS of the Ambassador. Knight once again gets Karis down, and that saves the play from being a complete whitewash. But no, Elk playing disrespectfully under that mid lane turret, Bin missing the ult. This is not a good game for BLG standards, really, and that's a problem now because they are behind in gold. Chemtech Soul or not, Dragon up in 2 minutes. They might actually be disadvantaged. They won't be the favorite team going in towards that Elder, and that's kind of terrifying for BLG. They might lose to an Elder Flow.
Shout out to a great blue trinket that was used to spot Bin mid prepping to ult that allowed a bit of a sidestep too. Like, don't get me wrong, Bin should have hit it. But I appreciate the heads up on that little vision game mid-play as well.
Also worth knowing it's an unassisted Ambassador ult, so they are much harder to hit. But the fact that he's missed a lot of high-tier visible ultimates on our screen, which have impacted our plays. If you're going to pull the ult there, honestly, if you were going to play like that, you could have also just flashed over and used your regular combo. Wave caught out now, needs to be a little bit careful. Quite tanky. We'll be trading some HP with Vampire instead. Big fights coming up. This could be where the game is decided in the next minute.
Baron up and available. Elder in just over a minute. I think it might well be. It's WE with a decent gold lead. It doesn't mean all that much at 29 minutes into the game, but they have the gold lead nonetheless, and they scale just fine. 3 items on Aurora, on Corki, 2.5 on the Jace. Hell, this Wukong will likely have the GA up in time for one of the big fights, you'd imagine, assuming WE can stall a little bit.
It's a 5-minute cooldown, so it won't be up for the next fight. It's about halfway through right now, but if they stall on it, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. If it comes out on cooldown, that could be a bit of an issue. Knight with 3 items, but the Chemtech Soul is very powerful now, by the way, folks. The Infinity Edge alongside the Shield Bow means it's 100% crit, and they have 2 manning the Baron off of vision currently. The Sejuani and the Yone, of course, get that melee synergy and keep using that permafrost on that. Vampire caught, doesn't have flash.
He's dead. There's no way out for that one. Gets a decent Magnetor. Monkey now looking to re-engage, but he's 1v4. Cyclone timing is decent, but he's going to die. Can't take Elk with him. Jungle support down for the count. Desperately trying to spare the blushes.
After what has been a decent game coming through from Vampire on Ryle, just can't get the damage done. Kara's trying to get some damage back, but uses that ult. It's just a bit of a party popper. That's all it is. BLG will go towards the Elder. No smite available. No engage available either. And WE, from a winning position, might have just thrown this game away.
Oh, what an unfortunate face check. I know Vampire is your sole tank in that perspective. Knight goes looking, can't find it. Burns the flash looking for that, by the way. Can't find that engage, but still Elder is theirs, and Taeyun will not be able to come and contest because he's valking away.
Not a decent angle there from Knight, because you know there's no turnaround CC. That is your chance to make that kind of free play, I suppose. Bit awkward now, he doesn't have that flash. go towards this offer vision, and it pulls W out of position. They spot it on the blue trinket, and I think they start scrambling, they start panicking at this point. And this is why we're saying, okay, maybe it would have been better to have a Leona instead of the Rel. The Rel is just not tanky, even into the full AD team. Monkey goes in, trying to save the situation somehow, some way. Vampire's already hit the ground, but there's no follow-up. Karis is not even in range on the Aurora. Really good play by On there to just say, okay, you walk further forwards, I'm going to combo. You can't commit to this fight. BLG get themselves the Elder, they go towards the Baron afterwards. BLG should be walking away with this game now, but honestly, given that it's been a 30-plus minute game with BLG versus WE, maybe the strongest team in the group versus the weakest team in the group, BLG should not be happy with this performance, honestly.
I mean, credit over to On, who I do think has, on the whole, played a lot of these Alistair plays pretty heads up. Good one there, and there's been some good moments, right? It's just been some of like the bits between the good plays that have been raising our eyebrows, been missing a lot of ults, some slightly over-eager attempts on contesting some of these dragons that have been problematic, and over to WE as well. Like, we don't want to take away from them. They've actually made some really good plays. Vampire's had some great engages. Monkey's been a genuine threat on this Wukong. Taeyun as well now on this Corki. Very, very strong. It's not like they've been passengers in this game, which has sometimes happened for this team in the past.
Yeah. Oh, so Karis angling for something. Not a bad combo there, I suppose. Actually didn't get his Q in there. As we see Ambassador just nailing that mid lane. Ult misses, but it doesn't matter. You're just shredding the turrets now at this point. Knight potentially could have gone look for an ult combo in, chooses not to. BLG slow rolling with their Baron buff. Makes a lot of sense. Going up almost up towards a 5,000 Baron power play. If they get one more turret, it will crest that amount.
Okay. Onto the turret they go. Inhibitor. Under siege as well. They've already got the top lane one. Billy Gaming in a much more commanding spot again now. Very difficult for W to play out from this point.
There we go. 4,900 in terms of the power play from BLG. They'll be able to sweep through the enemy jungle as well, steal some extra bonuses. That's always one of the bigger things from Baron buff. People don't quite realize as much. When you lose Baron, you also lose a lot of your own jungle control, because and that suddenly means that the enemy team, if they're farming efficiently, get double the jungle camps that you should do. Means that you lose a lot of gold and a lot of experience. Elder now up again in 3.5 minutes. That's one off now, just about for BLG. Baron up for another minute, so they'll be able to use that to control the map and, again, put down those wards, starve out the game a little bit more. Got himself a GA on Knight, which is nasty. Now he can look for a free play very, very easily. BLG feel a lot more comfortable than they did just a few minutes ago.
That's for sure. On in a spot of bother, but we'll be okay. They continue to look at the Krugs.
I'd like to highlight once again the difference between support and mid lane levels. And so solo lanes of BLG at level 18. Vampire is level 11. A 7-level difference and a lot of damage.
Here we go. Damage done. Is a lot of work. Damage now onto the turret. They go towards this final remaining inhibitor. Knight gets stunned up, pulls back. Vampire with a decent multi-man engage though. Knight goes down to Jib, but gets the fate sealed off nonetheless, and will still have the revive to come back to. I don't blame the attempt, but it was always a snowball's chance in hell. The public execution comes through on Taeyun. Corki tries to get out to safety, will fail to do so. Monkey knocked up with the flash Arctic Assault, goes down into his GA, the last remaining member, but for how much longer? True Shot Barrage, and a Mystic Shot brings down the Monkey King.
Monkey see, Monkey don't. BLG slam home the win. We were worried about them in best of ones, but they pull it out anyway. BLG win their first game of the split.
It wasn't always easy. The mid game was sloppy. We saw great...
Doing that matchup can cause you some pretty big issues. You have locked in a Gnar, though, for Silas to steal assaults. Which, yeah, we'll see whether that's particularly good. Lilia, good combo with the Ziggs, and it's also not the best ult for Silas to steal as well. As the last pick, hang on a second, we've got an AD carry going into a different lane. Is that going to be Corki top lane into the Gnar? I think it is. All right, we have a Corki top lane, folks. The last few picks have really thrown this draft for a loop. Cube is going to look to be very lane dominant now. WE, great amount of burst, good laning phase potential. Right. As we get ourselves our draft of the day, Sam brings me a cup of tea.
I did.
Thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate that an awful lot.
What are we
W
getting
already
drafts?
won the draft. Well, Sam, we had Silas locked in, so we said, oh, let's put the Jace that's already locked in into it. So they locked in a Gnar, so now Silas has a Gnar ult to use. And then W said, well, that's a little bit stupid. Let's throw one back to you. Corki top lane, why not? So Corki into Gnar top lane, it's very lane dominant. I think it makes a lot of sense with that. Wow. And folks, by the way, folks, for those of you who are saying that it's just Fearless that brings out weird picks, this is a best of one in the LPL, folks. We don't need Fearless to do weird shit. It's a Corki top lane. Turns out we had this spice all along. As Q blocks that in for our third game of the
We never had any
day.
fear to be fearless in the first place.
To have fear, you must be... To be fearless, you must be able to fear it. To feel fear. Nope. No, we can't do that one, folks. We'll get into our game here onto the Rift and bring you some more LPL action.
Oh boy. Well, we got arcane skins. I see Vi and Jace rocking their particular variants on that one. Prepare ourselves for game number 2 of the day.
3.
Number 3 of the day.
3 of the day.
I can't count.
Let's listen to the gyos.
Should be 2 of them, apparently, according to my counting.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。
Ah. Wait, have we got some really weird stuff happening? Are we going to have Ziggs versus Corki in top
敌
lane?
军还有30秒到达战场。
They were thinking about trying to lane swap it, weren't
No, no,
they?
no, no, no,
Sort
no,
of.
no, 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 no. That's not what's happening here. What's happening here is you have ranged versus ranged top side. You group up as a team to put a ward in the back brush, so it means that your ranged top laner can walk in safely knowing that the enemy top laner is not there and get lane control right away from level 1.
I was talking about Arm being up there, whether they were trying to get the Ziggs versus the Corki, as you were saying, and sort of lane swapping in that way.
So in that's a little bit different. And I was thinking, okay, maybe we get some weird stuff like Leona in bot lane or something like that. Okay, it does look like we're going back to our assumed lanes. ZDZ should know there's someone in here. Yeah, this is why you group up at that level 1, because that ward here is so important. It really can't be understated. When you're playing stuff like Quinn or Vayne, very, very important.
Oh yes, keep your eyes on that. And we did wonder whether we'd start to see things like, well, maybe we just take our AD carries and put them solo top and have our top laners lane with supports for a bit. Still get the value out of those lane dominant options from bot lanes.
Yeah.
But in the end, it will be standard lanes and no true shenanigans occurring outside of the fact it was a Corki locked in top lane.
So there were some questions in chat, one saying, who wins late game? God, that's a hard question to answer because everyone is so squishy. And what that means is that one mistake can lead to a big problem. Is Xiaohao has smite, and there's no smite on Monkey. This should be just a smite camp away, and it is. Gets a camp away already. Hang on, this is a level 2 Vi. Vi can't fight at this level.
No, she can't. Oh, just out of range with the blooming blows.
Actually wonder whether Xiaohao should have flashed for that Q. I actually wonder whether that should have been the case. Now what Xiaohao's trying to do is maybe fight for the walls. This is a big thing. Now, folks, I always shout out Gilius and I Will Dominate for this because they talk about it so much on their Stack Co streams. They are so passionate about saying, look, always fight a Vi at level 1, level 2, because she needs level 3 to fight. And it makes sense. You need to be able to quickly combo into your W pass. You need to get that 3 hits. You get the Q, auto E, and that gives you your full passive, and you can get a really good trade. Before that point, you don't really trade very well at all. Going in level 2 as Lilia versus Vi makes a lot of sense. Really good stuff played.
And if you've caught Vi on her camps having used the Q, because it's a lot of your early damage, a lot of your early AoE, if you've used it, it's a long cooldown early on before it's back up again. You can absolutely abuse that. Consider starting Raptors and then looking for the invade against a Vi. You can really do her in.
And then, so we had this level 2 invade after, so it's Raptors into, which is the quickest camp for Lilia, into invade, into other side of the map, which means that Vi gets one camp, gets one buff, and then gets to go into a top side. She's missing 2 camps from her own jungle and doesn't get any from the enemy side. So Lilia is so happy. Xiaohao has always been a very big Lilia player. When he was on LGD, even though they were a very poor team, he was very good individually. This is the kind of performance which made us really appreciate him as a player.
That's the heads-up play. Monkey not having a lot of fun with. There's not a lot you get to do as the Vi either. I think Monkey does right by disengaging, getting out of there. He just has to deal with the fact he's missing camps.
Yeah, I don't think... So this will be a topside scuttle for him, that's fine. You'll at least get the scuttle. But the fact that you're being denied so much on the map is so annoying. You'd like to be able to get onto this quote-unquote strong side of the map. You had that pushing top lane. You should be able to invade and get these topside camps. Well, no, you can't. They've already been taken. That's a big problem now. Wink.
Taeyun cleanses. Ignite's gone down as well. Vampire now bouncing around a little bit courtesy of a satchel, but the trades come on through to little avail. Are not with a huge amount of mana left here. We'll be looking probably for a reset in the near future, I would expect.
He has the teleport, so it's fine. You use your full mana, go back, get yourself a tier and whatever else you can afford at that time. It's been a good early laning phase from Onivia on the whole. Yes, down a little bit of CS, but I think they're okay with that on the whole. And Xiaohao does end up securing that one scuttle, which is actually very important because Xiaohao was about to have his bot lane not on the map. This is the only time he can get that scuttle. Great early pathing from Xiaohao to get, 3 camps up already. That's insane from Xiaohao.
Goes towards the Krug. Will pick up red buff. Will have to have that up and available for as long as possible. Hell, might even be able to get his Raptor respawn here, which shouldn't be too far off with how long he's taking.
Yeah, and then he'll go straight back towards that, the Fated Ashes.
Yes, it will be. Fated Ashes is the 900 gold burn part of the Leandries.
You're gonna be almost back towards your you're gonna get yourself an extra amp on top of that too. It's a very, very powerful first clear from Xiaohao going into that second one. Monkey's not been able to get himself a good reset either. So that we've talked a lot about early jungle pathing. Let's talk about early lanes. Bot lane's been going pretty okay for the Ziggs. I mean, you don't expect to be getting a CS lead. You just want to be getting some value thereabouts, and that's been fine. And, top lane, the Corki's getting a CS lead. Is it enough to really tilt the game? I don't think so, really. Mid lane is even. So it really does come down to that jungle advantage right now being the most important thing in this early game.
I'll give credit over to Karis for staying even in a ranged matchup, which can sometimes be a bit miserable for Sylas. At times in the past, he's had to just trade his HP bar to get wave shove and just deal with the constant reset. But so far, Karis playing out this matchup pretty well. Cube, Gatling gunning, though, is pretty miserable. And the Lilia has got Fated Ashes, has got the Control Ward, has also got a Ruby Crystal, is here at level 5, ready to play for Grubs in a very good spot. Very, very happy.
So we get ourselves the first big fight. Level disadvantage for Monkey. If he gets himself one Grub, will get himself to level 5, though. So one Smite will get him up towards that. He's careful with that one. Doesn't get the first one.
Second one, though, is definitely a play. Going to try and engage onto Karis, who steals away the Solar Flare.
Monkey used the Smite and didn't get that first one. That means you're giving up all 3. Often what you do is you wait for the first jungle to smite the first one. You say, well, you have no smite. We'll take the second one. Misses that smite play on the first one, though, and our Monkey is kind of throwing his team a little bit under the bus there. Karis does have that level 6. Needs to be a bit careful.
Vampire comes on in, forces a flash out of Angel. Does not lose his wings this time around, and will stay alive.
Okay, so, 3 grubs over to EDG. Can they use those grubs? Not easily with this comp, actually. They've been pushed in a lot of the place. However, if they get themselves onto the map, or rather, like, onto a turret, they do take it much more quickly now. Because eventually, Gnar left alone in a side lane where Corki wants to be at the fight early, that will make a big difference. Same with the Ziggs, obviously. Ziggs do so much damage. So WE, they need to be good at their lane assignments now. And we've had a lot of criticism about their kind of map play. It feels like they've thrown away good setups before. Watch for EDG to try and push through the cracks there and get some good value.
Okay. Karis, he's still got that Solar Flare to work with, hasn't used it as yet. Xiaohao continue to do what Lilias often do and use that very potent W, the Watch Out Eep, otherwise known as Eviscerates Enemy Poultry, in order to clear away very fast. And of course, a Lilia that gets ahead stays ahead. She farms so bloody quickly.
That she does. So Karis will be, his ult's about to time out, so he does need to just throw it at the wave or at Angel and get some damage down where he can. The Hextech Triangle, good damage, onto the wave. Doesn't manage to catch Angel, sadly for him. Cube, having a good time though in this top lane. I mean, he did pick in the Corki for this purpose, right, to bully out lane. He needs to be a little bit careful though. As soon as he gets Mega, it could be a bit of a problem.
Could do. Cube, it's a bit of a boomerang there, and there has just been a bit of that trying to dodge as many skill shots as possible. A little bit more even answer, especially now the steel caps have come on through. Well, feels a bit easier to deal with the auto trades.
ZDZ, and dodging a load of those rockets means that he can stay, hold the wave a little bit, and Cube has to back off, because he knows that the Mega's coming in with Flash, so if there's a Flash Gnar or a Flash W, it could be very bad for him. So ZDZ playing out, a hard matchup there in the top lane, about as well as you can at that point. So EDG, 3 grubs. No one's taking Dragon just yet. W didn't really want to waste that time. One of the problems of falling behind in jungle so much is that you don't really want to spend your time taking objectives. You want to spend that time farming, because you don't get as much gold and XP from taking the objectives. Yes, it's better for your team, but it's worse for you individually. And if you're already that far behind, you feel pretty bad. Now, 2 minutes until the next grub spawn. Monkey does have level 6, has managed to catch up a lot in terms of XP. That is actually very important. We'll have to see how he can make his first big play of the game.
Done a decent amount. A little bit of rubber bandings come to assist him there. The
Ooh,
swell
that's a
seed
problem.
lands into that lilting lullaby, flash away. But it might be the dark and dreamless sleep of death coming towards Monkey, now around. Yet to pull a cease and desist, but there's a flash, there's a heal. People just about to stay alive.
That was actually very nice from Wink. Cancels out the Vi Q because he gets hit by a... That's really bad. Now his Q's down.
Boy, Solar Flare comes on down. More CC. Blooming blows down, looking for a Q out. Flash for the Shield of Daybreak, not quite in range. Solar Flare comes on through. Not Solar Flare, Swell Seed number 2 comes on through. Mega Inferno Bombs there. They've got 2 already, but now Karis is in, looking to at least claim 1 back. Flash out from the second activation of the Chain Lash means that ZDZ stays alive. Just about. Swell Seed nearly catches the lead.
I mean, he has Flash. He can maybe go for a Flash E. Should be able to get one. He should be able to get Xiao here. He should be able to get one. Are they going to teleport in with Angel? No. I thought Karis could absolutely get one there. Chooses to call off the chase, maybe wondering if there'd be a teleport coming in from either Ziggs or Angel. Chooses not to after that point. Of course, Arn got himself a bomb onto that top side. Ended up not getting any assists for that, sadly, for him. But a good play from EDG nonetheless.
They get the dive off. Wasn't as clean as I think they were hoping for, but they burnt a lot of summoners there. Cube down 1, Flash down a Flash. Monkey down a Flash as well.
Teleport in from Cube. Angel needs to get himself out. Doesn't have something like a phase rush. Needs to be careful here.
It's a bit of speed up, but Monkey's around, slows down the thundering blow away. Will keep Angel alive. Loses half his HP bar though.
Okay, so big things to note. Xiao actually fell behind in terms of XP somehow, someway. Slowed down his farming somehow against Monkey. Karis goes towards the Protobell first item. Angel going straight onto Cube. Ow, that's a lot of damage. She doesn't have Flash, remember?
Ooh, hang on. Angel doing his best to Thundering Blow people away. Cube looking for an angle. Remember, doesn't have the Flash, though. There is the Zenith Blade. Boss Bomb, not quite enough. Wink might now be asked to take the kill because Angel can't step forward to secure it.
Still, another... so Cube ends up teleporting in, not getting that much on that bot side, and then gets a kill against him. I guess the Grub's going over towards WE.
One was taken, but it looks like
yeah,
Xiao
I mean,
had
so it
to
means
back
that
off.
you do get the might spawning in, but WE at least gets something through to their own jungler. Xiao has obviously found some time to sweep through in his own camps now and managed to reclaim that XP and gold lead. Angel getting a lot of alone time on towers, and of course they have the Grub's advantage. Great swell seed. Blind gets the two-man here. For those of you that don't know, you wait until you press R quite late on the Lilia to keep the burn ticking as long as possible and then reapply it. Of course, Wink here cancelling out that by Cube. And then the second time just tries to go in for... that's just greedy. Greedy. Doesn't manage to hit that Q, has to flash out and puts his team under the bus. Monkey's had a difficult game. And I know that the jungle spot for WE has not been the easiest part of their roster. I think that Hung as well was not performing particularly well for a while before this point. But Monkey coming in, looked okay in the first split. Struggled here in his first few games.
He has, of course.
Oh no, the last game was good on the Wukong, actually. I'll take that back. But this one's been a struggle.
Oh, Karis didn't know exactly where the Lilia was, so if he flashed, he wouldn't know where to hit. So it looked a lot easier from us, but the vision was limited enough to make it a hard call on where to go. Karis obviously makes that roam. Gave Jace a fair amount of time on bot side, got a lot of plates for it. Still ends up being, on the whole, a more winning play for EDG, who are up about 8,000 gold at this point. Angel, there's his stats on screen. Couldn't tell you what the Hansi means there. That'll be about that. Towards the dragon we go. This will be the first one of the game. No one's taken one as yet. EDG in the river right now, looking to start it up.
Okay, so, important fight here. No one's taken a dragon yet, of course, so first stack for either team has been much more about those grubs. Instead, ZDZ maybe just trying to get Mega up so he can stop Karis from impacting the play. Of course, he has the teleport. Karis doesn't. He can potentially teleport in with Mega now, so W do need to be careful. Despite the fact that ZDZ is lower HP, he can still come in and make it a 5v4.
Some decent wards to TP onto Monkey with that blast comb, though. Potential angle into the fight. Cube now being contested. Dragon still spawned. Down at half HP, sorry, not spawned, leashed, that's the correct term.
I don't know
We'll
whether
start to
EDG
reset.
want this on this
Ooh, baby.
timing. They don't have
So
Nymaera in
fair.
the best teleport position. He's in base, but no Mega.
Chains of Corruption land. Mega Inferno Bomb does come on through as well. Not to the greatest Vel. Now the teleport comes on through. It looks like Dragon will be secured.
Okay, so now what do EDG do now? ZDZ teleports in unseen. Someone needs to teleport topside now to catch that wave. Monkey, you do not want to be there. That's a problem, man.
He's going to cease and desist to his own deceased moment. He is dead and not having a great time of it here.
What is Monkey doing? This is such a poor game from the jungler of Team WE. I get that he feels pressure on an individual level, but it leaves the map so disjointed now. Cube potentially even going to get dove under this turret. The satchel comes through. There's nothing to protect him now.
Cube is looking pretty square this game. Did not want to be there.
Oh, man. It has been a disjointed game from Team WE. They came into the split not making roster changes through from their last roster in split 1, and they might be starting the day 0-2 with one more game left to play against Waybo. That would be a very difficult game for them as well. Both BLG and Waybo turning up on, I suppose, decent form today. BLG a bit more questionable, but they're not the team they have to face next now. EDG, much better from them. I think that Xiaohao in particular has been playing a mean game on that Lilia. Doing well to be in that right place at the right time, but everyone on EG is a threat now. The Ziggs,
Oh, boy.
the Ziggs has the Blackfire, not the Leandry. He's going towards a slower burn build. Means it's better for continual DPS. Not great for the actual burst potential, but still, I'm going to be very happy just picking up damage on the Ziggs.
Makes him a little bit harder to burst because you get actually a fair amount of HP from this. May need to use it on. Pulled out of his satchel pass. Gets out just about alive. Had to burn the flash there, though.
Okay, so that's how many ultimates on the other side? Just the one from Tane. Nothing else really burned. A little bit awkward there from On. Has the teleport if he wants to recall and come in at full HP for the Herald fight. Does have the ultimate too. Wink no Solar Flare is a big tool missing, but I suppose you could say that it's equal to the Varusol in this kind of comp. Maybe not actually, because the Leona is so important for setting up so much of the rest of the combos. ZDZ, he's had a pretty decent game himself, worth noting that. You know, not a strong game from him first game of the day versus Waybo. He had a difficult time versus Breed Zambessa. 3-0-1 in a difficult lane matchup here, though, showing that he's had a pretty good day at the office here against Cube, at least, who's the other top laner, I think, with question marks on his name. ZDZ in a position now to really start wreaking havoc in these team fights with Mega Nars abound, level 11, Flash. Next big fight of the game, watch see if ZDZ can have a huge impact.
That will be the plan. Herald started by the side of WE. And there is the Gnar. Just shoving up topside, trying to get towards Mega, as you said. I don't know whether they do want to fight this right now. They are looking like they'd rather play for shove else. Of course, Herald with things like a Ziggs often feels pretty good. ZDC actually looking to come down here with the Mega and just be as obnoxious as possible. Solar Flare catches out Monkey, who Vault Break it towards it. Wink just about falls down, though, so wait, the turnaround looks pretty good. Herald was secured. Angel dies, though, and what looked like a great pick onto Monkey is swiftly turned around by WE.
Yeah, ZDZ didn't really have the ability to clean up plays, and Angel gets caught out, flashes and dies anyway. WE pick up an awkward engage as EDG kind of split their focus. They're on the objective and they're on the fight. Never really good to do that unless you are very, very good at outplaying the situation. And EDG not really in that situation. Some good gold back in the pockets of WE. However, with Grubs, a Ziggs, and a Herald, EDG still walk away with the strategic bonus there to be able to potentially knock down that mid lane turret.
They do. Let's have a look at the replay again, because initially it looks like a bad retreat from WE.
This is good. I mean, you have the cleanse through immediately, which is pretty big. Vampire gets stopped on his engage, but the Mega Nar's used onto one target, and Vampire still manages to get himself a really good combo. It's a good combo from Vampire, but still misallocation of tools coming in from EDG, as they don't really figure out where they want to throw all their big ultimates. They don't get the Lilia ultimate in there either, which is a big part of their combo. So a bit of an awkward moment. WE, a bit more golden pocket now.
Varus and Corky got a lot of their skill shots off there. Youch. A little bit problematic, and again, a lot of your damage realistically was in things like that Lilia who weren't there. Wasn't, that's the one. Don't know why I'm suddenly going all northern with my plurals. Weren't there. No one says wasn't. In the north of England, it's always weren't.
How about that? Yeah. Sam, I'm not going to lie, Sam, don't really know how to follow that one up, so I'm not going to attempt to.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
I gave you a great opportunity to start it. Great tracts of land. Like this turret would be a great opportunity to pick it up.
Problem is, there is a Harold and a Satchel to be put down somewhere on the map. So
Harold?
An Harold.
An Harold?
King Harold, you know, died at 1066.
Was
King
that him?
Harold.
Was
it King Harold that died at...
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I think it was. He took the arrow in the eye.
That would make some sense.
Not the best thing ever. Yep. Yeah.
And thus led to the changing hands of the British monarchy again.
The Normans.
We had a lot of that. They just kept invading us.
Yeah, having quite a lot for a while, yeah. Not our best track record. No, really got to protect your jungle camps a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
I would have thought as soon as they crossed the river, you know,
the nexus of London kept getting destroyed, man.
Yeah, it wasn't great. The great infernal soul of London, as they say. Dragon stuff. Look, it's Ocean Soul. Not even relevant there. Vampire's on the flank.
Hang on, this could be...
Well, no.
Okay.
No. So the thing is, Vampire's not looking for ZDZ. He's looking for an angle into the backline with ult and flash. So ZDZ is not the target here. Now, he will be spotted if he goes over the control ward, of course. But
they know it's there.
Yeah, Vampire is a big fan of these longer flanks. Vampire does need to be careful about where he's going into. All ultimates available for both teams.
Is he going to show? Is he going to show? Still hasn't. Here we go. Mega Inferno Bomb comes on through. Now looking for the angle. Dragon secured by WE, but now Vampire just hops over the wall with a battle dance. Still caught in the pit though. They hop right back over there. In they go. Out they go. Turning around now with the chains of corrupted Mega. No one's going to come on through. And ZDZ dies. Vampire just about alive. They pull a ring out of a Rosie, I guess.
What is ZDG doing around these fights, though? ZDZ misjudged himself and we said, hey, look, he's got the gold lead. Look to see if he makes a big impact. And the sad fact is, no, he hasn't. One fight, he ults a solo Rakan, doesn't get any value, and this time just gets blown up. Yes, I know taking damage charges the Mega Nahar, but it doesn't activate it for you. WE get a good pick. They get themselves the Dragon. It's another good fight for them against the run of play. Vampire being a good disruptive force in this. So, as we go through to this, obviously Vampire is spotted, the big ult's already used, and they go on to Vampire and say, oh, it should be, you know, a decent play. The Satchel doesn't knock him out of the E, neither does the Hammer Blow or anything like that. And ZDZ just, I don't know, a moment of madness, tries to combo up onto the Lily Roll and just gets completely blown up. That really doesn't feel great.
Will likely die here, so at least they do get something back at the end of this after the slightly awkward play there. Good stuff for WE. Karis, though, will claim this turret topside. And that will be first turret of the game, going towards Karis and WE. That's the minions do the work in it. Actually, I take that back. It was already taken in mid just at that moment I was speaking. Arn got that one. I apologize. Taeyun going to Ghost Blade away as his spell shield is broken by a bomb.
Damage they're going to get Satchel here with the fast fuse coming through, and of course there's Mites. So, good tower take. Gets the inner turret gold. Nice stuff from Arn. Arn getting pretty powerful with this burn build. It's not going to be the burstiest, but it is a hell of a lot of burn. If you tag something onto someone, the extra DPS is pretty damn nice, especially with, if you get like a little bit of a tag, of course increases your percent AP on the Blackfire Torch. It's 4% extra AP for every target you've got burning down, which is, of course, nothing to be sniffed at. So, Baron spawning, of course, in a little while. Dragon spawning on the similar time, both in 3 minutes. Atacon has spawned. It's the GA Atacon, so it's the one which we all despise. As WE start to grow them up, maybe look for a bigger player themselves, but you do need to be careful at this point. If you get a big Leona into the Ziggs and the Lilia, that is a nasty amount of damage.
Karis going to start stealing some ults here, though. Goes on forward with the Abscond, the Abduct, the Mega Inferno Bomb comes on through. Wait! The Lilting Lullaby begins to turn it around. Karis and Vampire burning out Blackfire and Leandries on multiple members. Burning out so many people. Wink will likely get run down by Cube, but the damage in many ways is just done.
WE, what did we say? You have to be careful engaging into all of these EDG Kawombo combos. The TP is used by Cube, which means that won't be available now for the Mountain and Baron exchange. Atacon potentially goes down as well. This is a big, big win for EDG. They'll get themselves the GA for the double big objectives. Spawning in 2 minutes time. It will last that long. WE, it was risky for them to go for an engage into enemy territory like that when they didn't have the longer wraparound from Vampire. For as much as we have praised bits of the creative play from WE's engage, we also have to criticize them for boneheaded decision-making like that too. That is really not what you want out of that play. They go straight down the gullet, they don't finish off the kill, and as we said, look, they can go into that single target, they think they can close out Xiaohao, but you're going into enemy territory, you're going straight down the front and center, and the damage doesn't quite come through. Lily ult comes through into a triple Ziggs ult, which gets the burn rolling. This is pretty much just game over at that point. You've used your big damage. Taeyeon doesn't get the kill onto the Ziggs either. He flashes out of that. He's out of position. Why are they taking a fight in this part of the map?
Xiaohao surviving with that Zhonya's as well to get the Lilting Lullaby off as well was huge. Just goes and buys the Zhonya's, has that active backup and available again. We've got Dragon spawning in a minute. The gold lead has now extended pretty significantly for EDG after that play. This Lilia is really, really scary now. And of course, the rest of the team not exactly in a bad spot either. Ziggs now getting towards the Blighting Jewel after the double burn items. It is the tank Jace. We've seen a little less of that in recent patches. But Shojin plus Thimblewinter is still going to be pretty obnoxious to manage.
Now, it does mean you have a lot less damage. But I think with the Shojin going to the Black Cleaver, you get a lot of HP and you get the shields which scale off your HP, which means it is much harder to get zeroed out by a Vi, Rakan, Sylas, which, as we just saw with the Lilia, if you survive that and turn things around, is really good for EDG. So that's kind of the play. You have enough damage on your team already, and you say, all right, let's just survive through and just be a menace beyond that point. So Dragon, Baron, spawning in the next couple of seconds, and GA will still be ready and available for EDG. Let's see how they play around these objectives and see if they get themselves some clean objective wins.
Yeah, I'm seeing some surprise in chat going, wait, Thimblewinter Jace. Yes, if you missed the start of the season, that was the build for a while. Tank Jace with Grasp. Kind of fallen away a little bit, but it's still an option. You still see Jaces tend to take the Grasp and give themselves the option of going it, depending on how things go. Been a very flexible builder this season as Jace.
Now WE, they have to just kind of hang back, ride out the storm as best they can. They want to buy time for the GA to run. Oh, that's a good ult coming through. Buys out the Mikhail's coming through from Vampire. It's a lower cooldown, though, for the ultimates of EDG than the Mikhail's. Carousel will be able to teleport back. I wonder whether EDG have maybe flubbed this a little bit, though, by not going for an objective during the duration of their GA. They have 20 seconds left on that, but I guess they push back WE so far. They're trying to prevent them from having any setup, and to get those longer flank angles they've been harassing them with around the objectives.
Dragon goes on down. That will be second. I feel like Dragons haven't really been there. The name of the game here, 3 Dragons in only 25 minutes, feels relatively slow, considering we were at Soul Point 17 in the previous game. And now, Varus 2 1-on-1, still fairly damaging here. You've still got 2 items on Karis. Again, he can be pretty scary. Vi's hit 2. Corki's got 2 of them, Romana transformation. So like WE don't have tools here either.
I really want to point this out, though. The ward's being put down by Vampire. This is really important because this is what Vampire wants to do. Set up that longer flank angle. The reason why W just hard pushed in everything here with their duration of the Atakan was to say, okay, you're not going to be able to get that long flank, which can actually disrupt us a little bit. Now, with all of the wards on top side around Baron, there is a chance that W can get themselves that miracle engage with all of these different teleport angles for Karis, who can come in, potentially look for a flank, steal a Solar Flare or on the like, and try and get themselves a big combo after that point. WE setting up effectively for the Baron. Let's see if they can actually utilize that, though, and let's see if also whether EDG can clear out some of that vision. They cleared out a decent amount, but not all of the flanking wards.
Okay, so a little bit of downtime now as those wards, as you talked about, kind of largely being taken away. Still somewhat, but actually, Scuttle Crab comes on down. We'll use that kind of extended Scryer's Bloom effect to pick off a few of those wards. Still got that one just over the wall.
There's 2 or 3.
And there's one up in that. There's that control ward up in the top bush as well.
There are options. They have vision on the Baron, and they have 2 different flanking options. This is good warding putting through, but you can see EDG, they're not forcing the objective. This is actually quite intelligent from EDG, because they can say, look, if we just don't play around the Baron, and we stop you from entering that area for like 3.5 minutes, those wards will die, because they'll just time out. Then, the pink wards, of course, they'll stay there for a while, but EDG just making sure that they don't have to just rush the Baron. They can go back. They're getting good advantages. They have a 2,000 gold lead in jungle for Xiaohao on the lead, who's had a good game on this. Of course, going towards the Riftmaker, has the Zhonya's already. WE, they're slowly bleeding out, it feels like, in terms of pressure. And of course, with the items being built up, feels like it's hard to actually get their good burst combo down. It's tanky Jace. Zhonya's on the Lily, who's building up HP as well. Very long range on the Ziggs, and the Gnar, that's hard to shut down with the upgraded steel caps and the Starax as well. It's a pretty hard ass to shut down the targets you want.
That is an EDG, a team that has had a rough few years, bluntly. We said, look, actually, we thought they should have done better than they did in Split 1, as Monkey gets caught out here. Tries to get over the wall, just about out. And alive. Mega Inferno bomb into the burn. I think he just dies, doesn't he? Heal comes on through just about enough to keep him in one piece.
close run stuff. However, now your Smite is very low HP. Does that mean you think you can rush the Baron while the Smite's off the table? He might have to heal off. Wait, are there jungle camps he can heal off? There is a Krog's
gone.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be gone now. Monkey has to run back out onto the map, but with the Lilia burning it down with the Leandries and the Dream Dust, might be very hard to get here. It's not going down as fast as I thought it would do, actually. This should be a contest now. EDG do need to be careful.
CDZ coming along, trying to stay alive. Cubes TP'd in, they're trying to turn off the Baron. EDG got a decent chunk there onto Vampire. Those bouncing bombs hurt a lot at this point.
The Swirl Seal, oh my god!
Swirl Seal burn does a lot of work. Vampire stays alive and everyone backs away. Can't quite follow up.
I think they were afraid to fall up too deep into the Silas with the stolen Gnar ultimate. That could have been disaster, but you can see how much burn damage is coming across from Xiaohao and Arm. The Leandries and the Blackfire for the Ziggs, and then of course the Dream Dust passive for Xiaohao. Getting a lot of value, but EDG playing it respectfully. Maybe a little too respectfully now, I will say. I think there were some angles they could have punished a little harder, but still not wanting to go too far into the heavy engage of WE and invite a turnaround.
We're just having a bit of a muse about EDG and their woes over the last year or two. They brought Arm back in from the Calder player who, honestly, at points, as you were saying, was maybe a dark horse MVP candidate for the amount of work he was doing on an IG squad that was really struggling the last time we were seeing him play alongside Wink, actually, at some points as well. Of course, that long-time duo reunited here on EDG.
And of course, for Arn, it's against his the support he was playing with Vampire.
Yeah,
too.
on IG,
with Wink. He chose to stay with that IG roster when Vampire came in and said, look, there's a load of rookies, I'll be the only veteran, they kind of need me, and honestly they did, because that team struggled if not for Arn's leadership. And now you're looking at Arn and Wink, the two veterans joined back together from years on the IG roster. Of course, Wink used to be an AD carry, turned to support so Arn could play with him. And you can see that WE, now they're the ones which are kind of struggling with that lack of direction, with that lack of leadership. And while you do have some bright moments of playmaking, that has been what has marred WE. They don't have those cooler heads to prevail in some of these more crucial moments.
No, they don't. Go the wave, shoves dragons up. EDG though saying, look, it'll only be second dragon for you. We would rather take Baron over that. Vampire goes flashing on in, Arn in danger. A full send from WE. Arn though just about alive. Bombs himself and takes out two. It's too far, it's too deep, and they meet the Balrog of Edward Gaming.
Seriously good peel play from EDG. What are Monkey and Vampire doing? They go way too deep onto the flash Ziggs, and while that is happening, Wink goes forwards and gets a Q stun onto the Silas so he can't follow up. WE, as we said, the cooler head do not prevail in the important moment, and EDG will finally break this game's spine, get themselves a Baron, go towards the Dragon afterwards, presumably, and end this game.
They think they have a moment onto Arm, but he has Flash, he has Satchel, he has a team, and even without Zhonya's, stays alive.
If we get we will get a replay of that, but once we get through to that replay, I really want you to pay attention to what Wink does as well, because for me, a lot of what happens here is a difference in that, again, the veteran support mindset. Wink sees the engage coming through, but he stays calm. Watch what happens here is, the first the play comes through, you see that they have the Gnar ult on Karras, who really wants to make something happen. Sadly, they can't quite do that because of the timed out. Watch what happens with the engage coming through here. Clearing out wards, that's good, cool. Eventually, they see themselves an angle onto Arn and think, okay, here we can go for the play. We've got ourselves the Vi, the Rakan, such great follow-up range. And they go straight towards it. But watch what Wink does here. Goes straight onto Karras and means that he can't follow up. A Satchel as well, an Angel buying time, means that WE massively overestimate themselves. And for me, honestly, Wink is the silent hero of that play, making sure that the Silas can't follow up.
Because the Vi doesn't actually have enough damage to pop that Ziggs in time, especially without the rest of the follow-up. The divers go in. There is no artillery, though. Ends up being a bit of a blank shot. ZDZ takes out that bot tier 2, and the siege can commence now with double poke with a Ziggs. This is going to be rough, I think, for WE.
Yeah, I think at this point, game is pretty much over. You have lost your chance to really have a clean comeback and clean comeback fight. ZDZ, very hard to take out. You see the Vampire's trying to, take some damage off of him, but you can't survive the siege now. Arn's going to walk up, do 1 million damage towards structures. That's going to be one inhibitor down very, very easily. They can take a second one as ZDZ starts to shove in that wave again too. Very high bound power play coming through yet again. They didn't even choose to go toward the dragon. I think they say, look, let's just explode the base. Why not? We've got 2 inhibitors to take. Then after that point, when the Super Minions are running down the Nexus. We can find some in Karis. Maybe looking for an extended flank with the Gnar ult, but he's been spotted on minions, so that's going to make it a little hard to do so. EDG, how much they really want to stay towards it? They could wait for Xiaohao to get himself a better angle, but they are kind of at the whims of Karis doing something big here now. Ah, that's not a great ult.
Oh, it's not. Doesn't really get a decent follow-up. Karis will be lilting Lullaby. It's decent cleanse, though, but he still just dies. Monkey flashed out the center of the Mega Inferno bomb, but will still be sent straight to the Inferno regardless. Nexus turret under siege and WE. There is nothing more to be said, nothing more to be done. Edward Gaming will pick up their first win in placements of Split 2. They go to 1-1.
WE left at 0, pin people into the Rumble. And now how the hell do you dive into this combo? This is the problem when you lock in such heavy dive. Aurora, Vi, Ambassador all want to dive in, and if you lock in that Nautilus, he wants to be going melee range as well. BLG will say, all right, get through the Galio ult, and the Galio W, and the Renata ult, and the Renata W, and the Shinza ult. How do you get to the targets you want to go to? Waybo must remove the big disengage tools of BLG. The counter engage is absurd.
Don't get me wrong, Waybo Gaming, all on theme, and the theme is dive. The problem is they are diving into concrete. It is not a pleasant diving experience. This isn't your local pool. This isn't the ocean. This is just straight up a stone wall.
Funnily enough, it feels like BLG are the ones coming in with the sea mines for the diving. Normally you think the Nautilus would be bringing them to play. Sea mine. For those of you who haven't watched Hot Fuzz,
you should.
Watch it. It's
yeah,
fantastic.
exactly.
Anyway, Waybo, lock in a very coherent draft, but BLG, I think, really slapped them back in a strategic way. BLG walked away with a win, as did Waybo earlier in the day. These are best of ones, so technically it's fearless. Best of ones are always fearless, I suppose, in that regard. Jokes aside, Waybo BLG, this is the matchup you've probably turned up today to come watch. Time to see who's on better form. Have BLG shaken off the Game 1 shakes? Does it apply to Game 1 of the day or versus the team they're against on the Rift? Let's get into it.
Chat agrees with us. Hot Fuzz is awesome. This game will be awesome. And I think, potentially, I would have said on paper in terms of the strength of our team, should be our closest game of the day. Draft-wise, I'm not so sure. I think BLG have got a lot of answers here into Waybo, even if, as we said, Waybo can't make sense in isolation. It's just what it's into. We are worried. Understandably so. Galio Renata alone. Not a fun time for a lot of those divers.
Waybo BLG. It was our summer finals of last year. These two teams have been world semi-finalists beating it out. They have been LPL finalists. They have been neck and neck. BLG knocked out Waybo last playoffs. I'm sure that both these teams will want to be adding one more to their record of this upcoming head-to-head. Both these teams, an intertwined recent history. They come into just one game today on the best of ones.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。敌军还有30秒免速。
Waybo Gaming. A very passionate leader of the chants there. Moment of the LGD chant as well. Does occasionally happen. It's the old school TSM chant, but just in the LPL. There's our little JD Esports bots. Justin BLG. A little bit further behind at the 20-minute mark. That's kind of when Waybo Gaming's comp is at its zenith. Then afterwards, it just gets harder and harder and harder. And I think the moment we start seeing the grouped up fights, if it's a straight front to back, if the angles are known and the tools are all available, BLG can pretty handily deal with any dive that comes their way. A little bit trickier in the skirmishes, a little bit trickier if they don't have the flanks or all the tools, but even then, it's on Waybo to find ways to get rid of those tools, find those angles.
Exactly.
It's not as simple as it might be into another composition.
So, folks, this is one thing.
Okay, not as scary as it was in the game.
No, Sam, no one's getting.
I thought
close
Hung
to
might walk through there.
What? In that case, I would say something as he walked this.
Yes, all right, fine.
Now, folks, obviously Sam and I have been professional casters for a little while, and I'll let you into a little secret here. Sometimes we say things a lot just so it becomes a brand, and that can be a very powerful thing. Of course, the LEC is some of the best regions in the world with their legacies, King's Dynasties, where you always know about that kind of thing, so it's become a meme now. Saying something over and over makes it much more believable and it makes it much more powerful. And one of the things I would like to bring in about the LPL, if it's not there currently for you, is about LPL being the region of cooldown counting and cooldown economy. Sometimes the LPL fights weirdly compared to the rest of the world. But for me, I see it as them saying, we want to fight so you don't have Galio ult. We want to fight so you don't have Renata ult or Renata flash. That is something which the LPL is better than almost any other region historically at. And in this game, Waybo must show that they are very good at that style of play, because BLG cannot be allowed to enter a team fight with all of their ultimates available. If Waybo take a straight up 5v5, they lose. They must play towards LPL's regional specialty, which is removing your cooldowns from you away from the big team fight.
Because obviously, otherwise, if you're entering the proverbial casino here, the house always wins. You've got to have some tools to make it a lot harder. You've said exactly why. This comp makes sense. I think in the laning phase, things like this Aurora should be able to get a decent shove into the Galio before things like that Hollow Radiance come on through. And Corki, not bad at getting his own wave clear down into the Varus, but again, it's double ranged versus the melee support of Hong. So, like elsewhere, it should be pretty easy. There's some prio to be gained should BLG choose to find it.
This is going to be a bit of an aside, but of course, Arena is back right now, and I am a former rank 1 EU West player on
Hell
Arena.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you folks, if you want some freelo, I said there's freelo, there's no elo on Arena. Galio is maybe the best Arena champion right now up there with Zyra. You can do some very funny things to that champion. And it feels like Knight just plays Arena Galio just on regular Rift, so I'm very happy to see him. He's one of the best Galio players in the entire world. Ben has learned how to be one of the better Rumble players in the world too. Was not necessarily a specialty of his in the past, but he's learned how to play it better and better. BLG have some really good picks here for their team. On arguably his best champion is Renata too, so good comfort for them. There's something which we'll see on the next time that BLG play like this in a day too. Because we had some worries about, oh, they're not good in best of ones. I wonder whether it's just the first game of the day, which is the cursed, or whether it's the first game of the series. Because if they have a bad game one here, it's like, oh, okay, well, I say game one. If they have a bad best of one, you're like, okay, maybe it's a best of one issue. But if they have a good game here, maybe it's like just the first game of the day and waking up issue.
Might be. It does feel like that one there was some sloppiness from Wei and Bin in some of landing those ults in particular. There was a little bit of unjudicious face checking as well. Some of those issues came on through. So far, the game has been a lot slow. We've not seen a level 3 wraparound gank through Dragon Pit to mess up bot lane.
Yep.
It already looks like Elkanon have managed to force an early enough reset there from has got back with the tier and the longsword, but did have the wave crash into town.
And this is one of the things, the difference between Elkanon and, say, Knight here, right? When Elkanon were fighting very hard in lane, they died to the early jungle camp. When Knight is pushing up, even though his wave's not in a good position, he still draws the jungle pressure but doesn't die. That's a very important thing, because Tien was there, and he's like, okay, I could go for something. Well, actually, with the flash and everything else, it's kind of hard to go towards it. Tien's early pathing, though, I don't know if this will lead to a full-on fight, but Tien would really like to get himself the level up. He doesn't get the small raptors, though. Good snipe there from Y8 Way on the wind becomes lightning.
Does lose the big raptor, though, nonetheless. Can look to get a hold of his Crux, and probably what we'll see is the reset, because grubs will be spawning, and I imagine Shinza will be looking at it. Could maybe think about that dragon as well if they want to do it, but I feel like particularly when you've got things like this Rumble and when you're trying to get value out of the early grubs, this often is your objective of choice, just because dragon's a little harder to solo in particular.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a think about where this game is going to be won or lost. We talked about the cooldown counting, the cooldown economy. It's so important for Waybo. What can make their job easier with that? Well, I think the early skirmishes could really help. Problem is, you have the level 6s coming online already from BLG. Waybo need to be aware of the cooldown economy. They cannot go into a Renata or a Galio with a Rumble nearby. They also probably can't do that with a Shinzo nearby. At this point, Shinzo is kind of Exodia of the early game. You want to be taking kind of non-committal fights. You want to be like throwing your bodies halfway in and then just being able to flash out some when the cooldowns down, then look for the play a little bit later. We're looking to split the map right now, and they're trying to probably just avoid some of those bigger ultimates for the time being before they have an option to remove them.
Alrighty then. There goes those grubs we were talking about. There's the dragon.
There goes my hero.
Inside.
Watch him as he goes. That is a rendition of a Foo Fighters riff.
I just didn't want to properly sing it and kind of did the halfway house. Was probably worse than whatever I chose to do.
Knight walking up and giving some prio over towards Wei to walk in there. Xiaohu, I have to say, look, I was wondering for a bit of, early last year and into early summer last year, whether Xiaohu's career was legitimately over.
It was not.
It was the worst I've ever seen Xiaohu play. Real credit to him. I think that in playoffs last summer, and well, after the placements last summer, and then coming into Split 1, Xiaohu's been good. He's not been, you know, best mid laner in the LPL level, but he's been good, actually. I have to say, he's recovered a lot of form for me, and that's so important because, look, the LPL is great when its great players are also playing on form. When you have players like Scout and Xiaohu playing so well, so combo onto Xiaohu, Tian doesn't have ult to keep Knight pinned in place. Punished as he walks back towards lane, but with the wave coming back into him, he's not going to get that much trouble. He's just going to clean up the wave anyway. The sun is a deadly laser.
It is. I wasn't expecting that particular.
No, so, okay.
Hang on, Chains of Corruption. That's a level 6 buff into the Renata ult. A hostile takeover comes through, light flashes away and just about survives.
Xiaohu has 6 and has ultimate. Tian has 6 as well. This could be a big mistake now from BLG. Have they gone too far?
Oh my
Max
day.
range! The lollipop ain't so sweet.
Bailout comes on through to no avail. On flashes, and Elk thinks he's safe, but he's just not.
Another big
Knight's in
mistake.
danger.
I think what Knight was trying to do is make sure that he could get a return play, but Tian, he'll have another Q, he'll be able to survive this one. Knight goes down. Elkin on a huge mistake as Knight gets picked off trying to push in mid lane. Breathe going
Surely not
forward.
every lane.
Almost every lane falls apart, but this falls apart because Elk and On once again misjudge a 2v2 because they aren't reading the minimap. Importantly in there, Elk misses his W arrow. He just clicks it and goes wide onto Light. He had the full stacks on it.
Oh no.
That should have been a 2v2 kill, but Elk just misses the arrow at the end of it. Waybo walk away with 2 great early kills, picking up the mistake. Watch this again, right? Level 6 to level 5, catches them with that ultimate. I wonder whether On should have body blocked that. That would have made it so much easier. And then he misses the W arrow with 3 stacks. That would have been a one-shot onto Light. Big mistake there. And On flashes out. The lollipop comes through, and as we said, ain't so sweet. Elk goes down. Misreads the map. It could have been Tian, ends up being Xiaohu, and while that's happening, Knight knows that Xiaohu is there, but just misjudges where Tian is on the map. I mean, it's the right response to say, okay, I'll try and push in mid while the mid laner is gone, but just doesn't understand where Tian will be. Great punish from him, and Knight, a rare mistake from him. Typically, that's where he really starts to shine in that wider map repercussion play.
And all of those good early lane leads that BLG had have all been mitigated pretty hard there. Suddenly in a much trickier position.
So, question in chat, is Xiaohu the most decorated player in the LPL? He's tied at the most decorated player in the LPL. Knight is also up there with Bin and Kanavi and Knight. And Clearlove as well. So you have a bunch of players who all have 5 titles each. That is currently the benchmark, 5 titles. Of course, 369 Kanavi and Knight won a bunch, of course, on JDG because they had that 2023 year when they had 2 titles back-to-back. Of course, some of the top esports era as well, but Clearlove and Xiaohu are also on that list.
Just be careful. Smite comes on down for the slow. Missed the Electro Harpoon, though, so not the additional slow, even if it wouldn't become Lightning Land. So Breathe chunked, but not taken any lower. Will force him back, though. Doesn't quite have TP up, so this will be BLG with position in the river as second set of grub spawns.
Also, well, we have a BLG fan in chat. He's just come home from surgery. He's currently high on painkillers watching these matches. You might need to have a few more for this gameplay.
Oh boy.
However, Wade's going in. That's the Galio ult.
Here comes the hero's entrance. Bat signal is put up, and in comes the hero you needed in the big statue from Demacia. Bailout onto On will likely come right back up and does. Shields himself with the loyalty program, and On survives the dive.
That is the problem with Waybo's comp. You must not go into these plays when you have all of these ultimates. If you cast your eyes over towards all of the cooldowns here, every single ultimate but the Rumble ult was used in that fight. That is exactly what Waybo want to avoid.
Yeah, they can't stick around for the grubs, though, because of how much they burn, so they will still lose those. They got one of them, so they've got the Might Breakpoint, but can't get the full set. BLG pick up another kill there as well, and it goes on to Elk on the Varus, who's now getting to a pretty decent spot. By the way, he's got the lethal tempo, and that will be Berserk Greaves and On hit, so it's not going to be the poke variety.
I think in this case it makes a lot of sense. With the Renata, allows you to play just melee range, churn them out. One big thing as well you have to note is that if you get the first kill on the fight, Varus' passive is one of the strongest resets in the game, getting an extra damage and then extra attack speed as well. Look after he gets his first kill. Look how much attack speed he's getting at this point in the game. Absolutely absurd DPS coming through with the lethal tempo. On survives with the bailout and that last loyalty program. Clutch shields rather.
Holy moly, gets away with it. Nice play from On, who is in a really good spot this game now. Dragon is up and available. I want to see where that enemy wants to look for. Of course, a lot of big ultimates burned there by a BLG. The hostile takeover, the hero's entrance, both off cooldown. If
You're looking for a moment where Waybo Gaming will have the tools to dive on in and not have as clean a response from BLG. Probably is about now. And it seems like Elk and On kind of know that and decided, look, we'll switch topside. We'll look to get some plates up here while the Dragon is theoretically being taken by Waybo Gaming.
Someone putting in chat as well. Battle of KDA for contract money. That is actually, so funny fact, guys. There is a salary cap for players, but that salary cap is also based on individual stats and performance, like KDA. So there is actually some. So while it might be cynical, it is worth noting that the better you individually play, the more you technically can get out of a contract. It's a very strange situation here over in the LPL, but of course, when you have very good players, it's a way to kind of give them something back, I suppose. I'm actually not sure about all of the ins and outs of it, but yeah, that is actually
really interesting in terms of how much does it affect play.
Yeah, I mean, BLG, obviously, they don't give a rat's ass. They play this all the time. Bin has no ult, no flash.
He's just going to have a horrible time here. We'll have a scrap shield up shortly, but he's still being overheated! Can't get to it, and Hung comes in with the dredge line.
Bin gets his flash now. Doesn't quite have it while that play is happening, and Waybo have a great punish. Tien. Some really good angles from this game. Lest we forget, you know, all of these great players on BLG, but Tien, regular season Tien, definitely someone to be feared. Gets a good kill there and gets something back. Plays like that are very important to Waybo because, as we've impressed right the way from the draft, you can't really play this game when all tools are available from BLG. If you do that again, you get rid of the flash, get rid of the ultimate. It is a big win for Waybo. Xiaohu comes in, fries them along with that CC. Talked about Xiaohu being a good Aurora player. He's been doing well to combo up with that. Oh. Another lollipop. Hung, for all of the criticism on him, there's been a lot. Some good hooks this game.
Has indeed, and again, nice combo with that Vi Aurora. Why are we seeing it so much in the LPL? Because it's very easy to follow up on the Vi wherever she goes, because your ult is just huge. And of course, with your W as well, it's very easy to make sure you are hitting the target, the Vi ults, even mid-team fight with people in the way.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a good point to bring up a point about Hung, because Hung has been one of the most criticized players in the LPL for his position, because he's been on good rosters, and he's not necessarily been the best player. He was on LNG, and they bombed out of Worlds a couple of times, and now he's been on Waybo, and they've had some high-profile losses now on this one. The thing which I will say about Hung is that he is not a good instigator of plays, but I think he's actually quite good at following plays which other people make. Like, he's on the same page as players like Tarzan when he was on LNG. I think with Tien, in plays like that, if Tien has a go button, Hung can follow up very well. And when he's playing something like the Leona and the Nautilus or the Rakan, he does get some good value out of that. It's just not been as consistent as, of course, his teams would have probably liked at that point. But still, keeping an eye on that, that's the skill I would really attribute to Hung.
We're still getting subs in the game, by the way, hey guys. That's pretty ridiculous. Mecha, that's another sub.
Jesus Christ, 201. It's like 201 Dalmatians, except they're actually just Twitch subscribers.
Twitch subscribers, yeah, exactly.
Knight is alone on the turret. He does have a lot of... He's level 11, gets out of the hook.
Oh my days, it's a 3-man dive. And Galio looking like he could use a little bit of support from a subscriber or two here. The bailout! Oh, not the bailout, the turret shot. There is no bailout here. What am I talking about? It's a 1-for-1 in the end.
So they get the flash out of Galio, but they end up using 3 ultimates and a flash. Yeah, I'm not going to call worth on one. The flash, handshake, goes forwards, and Corky goes down.
Nice combo. They get a hold of Light, who is not seeing much light this game. It's grey screen out there. Mid-tier 1 goes as well. And yes, they managed to make that a cross map.
So, BLG Waybo 2 for 1 all in all. They get themselves that outer turret. That is important. Waybo wants to start opening up some extra angles into the fight. If they can take these side lane outer turrets, it does mean a lot to them, so they can maybe bypass some of the front line of that Galio and the Shinzao ultimate. But that came at a pretty big cost. Knight playing really well on that tankier Galio build to just buy so much time under the turret. Dodge down that hook. Great E from him. I'd love to get a replay of that. That bot lane tower dive actually was very clean played from Knight, given the situation he was in a 1v3. Dragon coming up in 2 minutes. Atacon up in 3.5. It's the GA Atacon. And we have ourselves a pause.
First of the day.
The most dreaded of things. Who's the camera of Shane going towards?
Oh my god, it's us now.
How are you clicking your buttons so good? That's what I'd say to Knight. Man, I ran into Knight once at MSI 23. I have since become a much bigger Knight fan because I've spent more and more time in the LPL. We're back. So now we get to see who wins the next big fight, and they are, of course, the team which were channeling Fnatic. Check him PC. Check him PC is not normally.
It's not. It's because he's playing left-handed, Alex. That's why it's not normal.
Oh, yeah.
He is the golden left
You know,
hand.
funnily enough, I have a staff shirt from 23 summer finals, and it has the golden left hand on it.
It's be quite hard to wear if it's a shirt for a staff. Like they're big,
Yeah,
big,
you
big
know,
sort of wooden pole.
well, Sam, have you seen my build? I am basically just
That's
like
very
a
true.
singular.
There is a certain
I'm a
staff
singular.
quality,
I'm a
yeah.
singular vertical line. A bit of a jut out for the nose, I guess, but still, yeah. But no,
Character, Alex.
yeah, that's my character design. You know, just draw a straight line with a bit of.
You know,
a
if you wanted to like hide yourself, like when people like spy on the just get like a big mop, turn it upside down.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I can just put like I can put the mop head on. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
That's it.
I am in the janitor's closet. I can be the clog father I got. You know, that's
so
actually
good.
the name of the skid, by the way.
That's
Clog
so good.
5 grub push coming from BLG. They don't actually have the best. They have a lot of melee, so it's not that easy for them to hit the actual tower itself. And here comes the teleport, baby. Sniffed blood.
Might not be the clog father, but he's still trying to give the whole team the swirlies. But here comes Renata to make sure they wash it all down. On bails himself out, but to no avail. There ain't enough money in the bank for that one. Humbo does finally go down. It is the 1-for-1. All things said, and sorry, they made that a 2-for-1 as Tien fell as well as Hung. That's a pretty big deal. Remember, Drake's just spawned. You lost your jungle, you lost your support. Combo pull, then we said it was going to be hard. Exhibit A.
Yeah, that's honestly great draft from BLG. Waybo once again go into the fight when they have too many things available. I mean, they get one in there, and Breathe gets himself a good teleport, but a good teleport angle is not going to win you a fight hard enough. You need to make sure that somehow BLG have misused their tools, and when you've got all of these players on such comfortable champions for them, that's a hard ass to have. Waybo now
Shahu.
overextended in this side lane. There is no flash for Shahu, no ultimately that he's not making it out of this one.
He's going to try and run around a little bit, but it is Wabbit hunting season, and Elmer Fudd in the form of Bin and Knight will bring down the Killer Bunny Rabbit. It's not quite a grenade, it's not quite holy, but it'll do.
I don't know. We had the sharp, pointy teeth duo cast line, right? Do you want to prepare a synchronized casting moment for some time in the game?
I feel like we want to say like 3 sir or something when they kill off the Aurora. 1, 2, 5, 3 sir.
Okay.
We need to workshop it.
Okay, Sam, you can go 1, 2, 5, and I'll go 3, sir, and you can go 3.
And then the grenade comes down on the Aurora. That's the idea.
So that's our plan for later into the game, folks.
If
Great
Aurora's being like hunted and she doesn't know it, that's got to be the plan. It's got to be very specifically if it's an unknown jump on the Aurora.
Okay, I'll follow you on that one, Sam. As we have no dragons for just now. Atacon spawning on top side of the map in 30 seconds is the GA version. BLG want to leave that a little while. They'll leave it for a couple of minutes, try and take it, so they can use that GA to overlap with the dragon. That's a big pick, and that's a dead.
Oh boy, Nautilus has got a few holes in that diving suit. It is not very hermetically sealed. And the blood that leaks out afterwards is going to be dripping into the ground. Breathe. Backs away to his base. Some fancy steps. But unfortunately, he's dancing with no one else.
Oh, man, I like how it's say nice kill steal. Light. I mean, Light is an 80 carry with that last one. I'm not gonna blame him for that last play. It did end up happening with that one, but yeah. I mean, look, BLG, they just have so much cash potential now. Waybo are playing from so far behind on the map, and the problem is now the way they have to play to deny cooldowns from BLG is also the way that they die horribly in random picks. Because BLG don't actually have to use all of their tools to go aggressively. They can use a handshake, they can use a Varasol, which is less important to their disengage combo. It feels like it's very hard for Waybo to play from this far behind in the game.
Yeah, and Elk at 6-1, by the way, is absolutely monstrous. I'll be interested to see what happens when on this back. I think he might have gotten Terminus off this, or at least very close to. Anticon an option. BLG somewhat aware.
And at that point, it doesn't have the Terminus, but he has the makings of it. It might even be a Wit's End, but that we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the Tenacity's Tenacity's not that important. There's so many knockups from Waybo, but still, we'll see whatever that item that comes into it.
Stops Aurora popping him, I suppose.
Yeah, if you get towards like Terminus and Jack Show, I mean, the game that goes from hard to impossible, I think, especially through the bailout and everything. Knight is now on top, so he's so tanky with the steel caps as well, and also having the upgraded steel caps from the feats of strength. It's very hard to pick people off in side lanes. You have double tabby onto both the solo laners. What do Waybo do? What answers do you do? You probably have a smite fight. That's probably what you're looking for. It's very hard to play around that. As Waybo, they have to really go to smoke and mirrors. It's something which, of course, many of these members have done before. Shahu, first and foremost, really. It was kind of him who was the smoke and mirrors king for a little while, from 2020 to 22 or whatever. It's been a while, though, since he's really been able to do that with the best of them at the top level of play.
That's a can't.
not being started. Knight going to try and put a ward down. There are some decent wards here for Waybo around that objective. They've got one over that wall. It's a regular spot that we've seen. It'll be a little hard to get there if you're sweeping in the river. So your sweepers can time out and that ward can survive theoretically, especially if you are a melee clearer. Ward in front of the pit, but now Atakan being a consideration. Do Waybo Gaming feel like they're going to have to contest? Well, those ultimates are back up and available for BLG.
Look at this already, right? There's a Scuttle Crab Shrine in the river, but you're getting pushed in a top lane, you're getting pushed in a mid lane, you don't have push in bot lane, you have a 3-lane push deficit. You have a ward which spots Atakan, you have a ward just outside of Baron's Well. It wasn't the Scuttle Shrine, but no, Waybo, they are just bleeding out. And the problem is, every time that we see someone like the Nautilus walk up and try and look for a ward, look for something, he gets caught out and he dies. That's what happened the last time. I'm not going to blame Hung completely for that, because BLG are just playing very well to punish. Waybo, they don't have the ability to deny BLG the tools which they can win the team fights with.
No, they don't. Knight is alone here, and maybe that's the way you do it. Use all your dive tools to pick off a member. Shao, who steps on forward and does very little at this point into the significant amount of resists that Knight has.
I mean, he has one magic resist item, and he didn't even need to go towards Motred, so he can go towards the Steel Caps as well. He doesn't even need to itemize towards his lane opponent. He's happy to go full AD because the rest of the team happy to push that one up. Now you have, Dragon spawning now, and you have Baron in 2 minutes. This is where BLG can start thinking about, well, we could go towards an Atakan, get the GA and tide it over into that Baron. But do have 2 dragons. They could go towards a soul point, but I don't think they have any setup. Well, where do they have setups? The problem. They definitely don't have it for the dragon. They're trying to get it somewhere. Tien's trying to hover in Fog of War to get someone caught out.
Wait, and I'm going to try and see whether there's an angle here onto that. Again, this is going to be a hard target. Here comes 4 members. Renata roaming as fast as they can. Dragon being soloed currently by Elk. Big taunt, depth charge comes on through, knocked up into having execution. He's taking so long to die. Finally falls, but the Renata hostile takeover across 3 people holds them all in place. The equalizer comes on down, and there's just nowhere to go. Way looking for an angle on in. They're going to get a decent chunk onto on, but it's already damage done. In goes Vi to try and turn it around. Light finally falls, and Elf isn't even here. He's finally turning up. Tia misses with the Vault Breaker, and on somehow, some way, will not fall. Breathe goes looking. No, 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 no. Renata gets away with murder on a grand scale.
How do Billy Gaming do it without an AD carry? BLG use Elk to kill the dragon, and they slaughter the top side fight because Knight is so good at buying time under the top lane. Yes, he dies, but between the damage he does under the turret with a 4-man taunt and then Bin's ultimate damage afterwards, Waybo cannot get anything done. BLG will come back out onto that with 5 Guardian Angels, those withdrawals from the Atakans to play around the Baron for. But watch this again. Knight says, all right, I'm in this for the long run, kills the wave, gets things under the turret, gets so many Qs out, and just forces Waybo to commit longer than they wanted to. Hung takes 4 turret shots, and it buys time. Yes, Knight ends up dying, but his job is done. Bin is into the play. There's half HP bars on everyone because they had to tank the turret for so long. And it just means that even without the AD carry, the rest of the Fed members from BLG can clean up shop. It is a nasty fight. There is no way you should be winning this without your goddamn AD carry at this point in the game. But BLG make it work.
And On somehow survives the end of this. It's ridiculous. First, Tien goes looking for him just shy on the Vault Breaker, even with the smite. Then Breathe goes flashing, not in range, not in range. Loyalty program, and Bin picks it up afterwards. It could not have gone worse.
It is about the worst case scenario. You lose everything. You get a couple of kills back, and that's it. Baron now up and available. Waybo looking for potentially a Baron steal. That is the only hope they have for this. Tien looking for a steal over the wall. There's nothing forcing BLG to go that fast. They can just force it in like this, exactly like that. Keep leashing that Baron. Way can hop back over the wall. Bin doesn't care if he gives over the GA. He just wants to delay.
They get a hold of Hung. There's the Baron down.
God, they might win.
To find him. Oh my god. They have still got the withdrawal rules, remember. So Knight finally goes down, but they take Vi with them.
They take 2. They take the Vi and the Nautilus, and they just delay. Knight goes back and says, well, I had the Atakan. Doesn't matter that I died. I can just get a Medjais. I don't lose any of my stacks. BLG walking back out onto the map. Baron buff, 5 grubs. Atakan still available for a couple of their members as well. Waybo falling apart.
It's a Knight special. He's got a 6-stack Medjais in inventory. He is that kind of player.
base broken. Not a lot to be said. Tien and Hung still dead. I was gonna say that Hung respawns, but Tien's still dead for another 10 seconds. So inhibitor comes down. There's not really any trigger to pull. 2 minutes until the next dragon. At least there's no soul point. At least there's no soul to be claimed in that sense. I don't think it's getting any easier anytime soon. A 9, nearly 10k gold lead, plus a comp that we felt already was a very good answer into Waybo's gaming. There isn't a lot of gaming to be done anymore, I think, for WBG.
Oh, I think they're going to be sadly walking off the stage very soon after this point. BLG, when they're ahead of a game, are just as destructive as ever. It's just been their problem getting to that point consistently. Tien might be able to engage onto this. Here comes the teleport. Bin walking up towards the play, but he might not be there in time.
Way goes on in, Chains of Corruption are down, they go into the backside, Cease and Desist is there, the Between Worlds across multiple members, well, but the hostile takeover once again is unbelievable from On. Equalizer comes on down, we don't even need to count to 3, the hand grenade comes in, and it is a cluster munition. Nowhere to run for the Killer Bunny Rabbit.
They cannot kill the Varus, he's too tanky, he's too protected, and Waybo saw the composition and wept. They could not get through the anti-dive.
No, they could not, and by God did they try at points, but there were just too many abilities, too many cooldowns, and too many fights that went so very wrong. Night finally falls, but that is the smallest of consolation prizes as the Nexus of 50 gold go towards Billy Gaming.
Because, of course, a lot of Leona's damages through enemies damaging champions after she's hit them with an ability. Xiaohu. Yeah, the Galio looks good. Xiaohu's Galio, of course, also legendary in his own right, too. Very, very strong champion for him. As the last pick is a Poppy support, which goes into the Leona. Has some 2v2 value, because of course Leona can't really freely E. Eventually, though, it becomes a bit of a problem, because Leona pings you with the ult. If your W's not up in time, then you get the Zenith Blade anyway. Difficult later into the game, good in the early game. So, Waybo walk away, I think, with easier combo. Some decent ways to play around lanes. I just expect, though, just coming from this draft, MF Leona's strong in lane, especially with Light on the MF. I think Light's been a stall. Of course, fighting for that. Waybo on the other side, wanting to get a positive win rate for the day. Their last game of the day. They've played 2 already. 1 against BLG. They lost, and 1 against EDG, which they won. This will be their first round robin being ended. For Group A, of course, reminder, folks, top 2 go through into Ascend. Bottom 2, things get a little bit more difficult for them. Let's get on to the Rift and hear those Gyos.
还有30秒到达战场，碾碎它。
So, anything interesting to point at? We have Aftershock, not Hail of Blades, so a little bit tankier for Vampire. Might need to be diving into that comp, pretty nasty. We do have Phase Rush from Galio here. That's become, you know, it's pretty standard, really, for solo lane Galio. Makes it easier for you to take a combo and run out of it. Grasp on both top laners. Press the attack on the Ezreal, so not the lethal tempo, which is sometimes better for the longer trades. Press the attack's kind of a happy medium, where you get the better burst of press the attack. Less long-term value than Conqueror, than lethal tempo, but you still get some, because the press the attack still gives you some decent value. Hey, Solo Puppy, good to see you. Now, folks, if you've been enjoying our coverage of LPL today, please let us know in the comments. I do watch chat as much as I can. I'll be casting solo for the last 2 games, as Sam's going to be doing a Mere Masters later. Let's enjoy ourselves some LPL, though, shall we? Is that desynced audio? Nah, it's okay for now. Slightly, but it's fine. This 2v2 in bot lane has been a focus of Vampire's. 2v2 has been pretty solid. Not game-winning, but solid. Light and Hung. They've been on pretty good form today, though, it feels like. Managed to get a good 3v2 against Elkanon earlier today. 3-lane push coming in from WE. Tien. What's he going to do with that? A little bit harder for him to find much. Ward onto Raptors. He's spotted as well. See that every single lane being pushed in. Monkey not that able to do that much. He's not the best early laning champion. See you, Apple. Good to see you. Thanks for hopping in today. And for everyone else in chat, thank you for also watching as well. The support today has been absolutely phenomenal. for us casting these games. Breathe getting pushed in. But I think he's happy to do so. Waybo just wants to get through these first few levels of the game. Get Tien onto the map. The Shinzao will be able to bail out parts of the map. Very, very strong skirmish champion, obviously. Monkey, not really been able to do that much with the pressure, though. This is the problem with the Wukong. The Wukong doesn't really leverage winning lanes like this very well anymore. Really needs to get an item. Yeah, one item spike for Wukong is where you start doing a lot of work. Which means that you're not, you know, at least in Shinzao. Good step forward from Breathe there. Dodges that in the Q2. The sweet spot. So he's getting the bounce back now. Absorb the first wave. Managed to absorb enough XP and gold. Gets the level advantage briefly. Ooh, nice. Getting the Q2s as well. Can you dodge out the Q2? Oh, this is a problem now. He's going to get Q3'd on top of him. Misses the Q3. Cube missed the Q3. That could have been big. Of course, doesn't have Conqueror, but still, missing that sweet spot. Now leaves him at a bit of pickle, doesn't it? He'll get himself to level 4 with 1 more minion, and he gets it now. Will it be enough? Charging up the Q. 3-town strike. Immediate knock-up. Who takes aggro? It's Tien. He might get pulled back in his first blood. Cube will go down, but not before Tien gives over first blood. It was a well-played knock-up from Tien, but they couldn't quite get the burst combo in. Surprised at that. Thought it would be a quicker combo. Cube survives for long enough to get himself some gold. He'll teleport back up. I consider that a win for Team WE, even though the kill goes over to his lane opponent. I think Cube is happy to take that in the 1v2. Questions, though, about what Monkey's been doing. He's not really, not really used the fact that he had so many pushing lanes to do anything. Especially after that last game, Monkey's got some eyes on him. Very poor game against EDG, sadly for him. Xiaohao kind of just diffed him. Good jump forwards. Yeah, gets the ground smash as well. Gets the phase rush, so there's no extended trade. First blood is not worth the extra gold now. Yeah, no, there's definitely something for that. But getting it in the 1v2 for the solo kill does give you some more XP than duo kills do. And also you have the teleport to get back to lane, so it's not like you lost that much. I'd still consider that a win. Because what you end up doing, this is an important point. This is a big concept about League of Legends, which I think people should value. The most valuable thing a jungler has, and the resource they use, is time. Time is the most valuable thing a jungler has. And you spend this time doing various things. Farming jungle camps, taking objectives, ganking lanes, warding, being on the right part of the map, shielding dives. Because you have to be everywhere, and you only have limited time, time becomes your most valuable resource. This used to be why Zyra was very powerful last year. Olaf in Season 6 and 7 cleared so fast that you would have so much extra time that you could kind of do whatever you wanted for an extra 30 seconds. By going top lane and then dying, that death, it's a lot of time. So I know this isn't exactly what you're talking about, Mecha. I know that. This is more like just a fun casting talking point. It's a thing which I get to yap about a lot. But whenever you see someone making a, dropping a camp to go for a gank, you have to think about the overall value of it. And different metas and different farming speeds and different camp value can change that over time. But, and taking grubs, actually a great example of this. This is why actually we used to see a lot of junglers drop the third grub, because it's like, I don't want to take the third one. It's not worth it, actually, after this point. Catches Vampire. W comes through now, but Vampire has to flash. So Vampire's not really had any value on this Poppy just yet. And as we said, eventually it becomes to a point where Poppy doesn't really get that much value out of the tankiness. And you can't actually stop that much with your W. It becomes a bit of a problem, actually. Vampire, no flash now, remember. Misfortune, doing fine down in the spot lane. Shield of Daybreak, get some damage down. Aftershock. Vampire has Aftershock too, of course, remember. Actually did quite well at support combat. Needs to be a little careful here, because the Wallstone is potentially a threat. Monkey on that side of the map. Tien farming up. Just catching up on some camps, which were left behind for now. Xiaohu, of course, has ult. That's a big thing. Karis does not have a cancel for Galio ult. That's one of the big reasons you can pick Galio into the Aurora. Recall's coming through from jungle support from Team WE. But Xiaohu becomes a bit of a menace now. If you don't attack the Galio itself, you can't cancel the ult with the Aurora. And if you attack the Galio, well, he's tanky as balls. What the hell? WWE don't Dragon? I don't think they can. I think right there they can't, because they don't have one item on their Wukong yet, so he's weaker than the Xin Zhao. You're against the Galio, who has that ultimate. So there's every chance that Leona just flash Qs, gets a stun, and then you get the Galio on top of them, and I think your fight's over at that point. It's very dangerous. And as we said, time is a valuable thing for junglers. This early into the game, if you are not, you know, Lilia, Karthus, Zyra, you don't kill objectives quickly. If you're an AD skirmishing jungler, you don't take dragons quickly. Dragons will take like a minute to kill, or whatever. It's a long time. Maybe not a minute. Maybe slightly less. But, that time is stuff that you could be using to keep up an XP. If Tien just keeps farming through that, you've then lost individual jungle advantage, which we saw in the WE EDG game, was very important. So while I understand it feels bad not to take the dragon when the grubs are on the other side, I don't think they have the timing for it. I think that Monkey feels a little bit pressured now. And this is no problem, because Monkey hasn't used his winning lanes to do anything, actually. He's not ahead in gold. Not ahead in XP. And Waybo feel very happy. They haven't gotten, you know... You haven't gotten punished in lanes. Ambess is ahead because of the kill. Mid lane is even, which is... Galio getting out of lane even is so good. Galio is meant to be a lane-losing champion that is very... very good with economically building towards items. Karthus turns forwards. Good combo. Anyone else on his side of the map? No, not just yet. Oh, ult comes in from Breathe, unassisted, gets the Eclipse. Oh my god, that's some insane damage. Breathe. Gonna get some assists, but flash away from the Zenith Blade means that Hung is in danger. Turret Shot comes through, means that Hung has to disengage from the play. Vampire on the side of the map. Karthus takes a Q2, which means he's a little bit in danger. Tien, what's he gonna do? Does he just jump towards him? Does indeed. Teleport comes through. Xin Zhao might have to flash out. What's the plan here? He just chooses to go 1-for-1. Why does he choose to ult there? Very strange from Tien. Could have chosen to E out maybe to a minion instead of use it onto Karthus. He'd already used himself that flash. Very strange dives coming through from him. Chooses to use the ult. So strange. How many minutes until Elder Spawns? Depends on the amount of dragons taken there, Gab. Depends on the amount of dragons taken. You have to have the soul taken by one of the teams. Can be as little as 4 dragons spawn, and then the 5th one is an Elder if all 4 are taken by the same team of the first ones. Can be as much as 9, because the first 8 can be taken. Well, no, sorry, 8 rather, because 4 is taken by one team, 3 by the other. Hey, it's totally good to see you. And thank you for the follow, Pierce, as well. Appreciate it. Okay, Grubsing started up, but Wukong has to disengage from that. Not a great place to be stuck on the red side. Grub taking is very difficult because you're pinned against the wall. Don't want to have you back against the wall like that. Teleport coming in from the Galio. Aurora's here too. Aurora doesn't have ult. Galio does though. Yeah, you don't win this fight. So W, sadly for them, just end up being, they spectate a little bit. Safari League of Legends like to call it. You look at the wildlife, and not much else. They walk up, they do nothing, they leave. Eclipse from Breathe does a lot of damage, but eating sweet spots from Cube on the Aatrox, not exactly your favorite though. Get some Q2 poke, nice. While all this is happening, Xiaohu's having a pretty happy time with things, actually. Oh, well done to pop by Cube, but he's pinned in place. Ult's not going to land from Hong, who's had a bit of a bad game on the Leona, not going to lie. Not really sure how he escaped that one. I think at that point, you just lead with the E, don't you? E, R while it's in flight. Don't know whether... was there any tenacity built up by Cube just yet? Don't think he's got Merc Treads. Very strange. Because I know there are some cases where you can break that CC combo, but Hung, I think, just being a little bit too respectful there. Disrespectful, rather, I guess. Trying to get the extended CC combo. Bit of a mistake. Has the Ignite, too. I think that definitely should have been a kill. What does Ambessa's not managed bar? It is effectively her passive auto attacks. When she casts a spell, she gains a stack of her passive, which gives her increased attack range. And if she lands her auto, she gets energy regen back. And that energy regen scales with her level. In late game, it will give her 70 energy back, well, more than 70, which is basically, it will recoup her energy cost for her combo. Basically, think about it, each of her autos is a spell cast worth of energy. About 70 in the early game, and it goes up to, I think, 100 or so, maybe. I might be going from less than that. Karis jumping forwards, light way too far forwards. Great flash out of the E, but not enough to survive. No idea why he's walking that far forwards. No vision on either side of the lane. Gets punted down. Good engage by Karis and Vampire. But why was Light there? Burns both summoners and dies anyway. Very, very odd. Should never be walking that far up. WWE get a good kill for themselves. Also, while that was happening, Xiaohu not in range for his ult, of course, either. Only the level 1. Down on that bot side. He will get to walk away now. Now, this is the problem. The opportunity cost is, by making that mid lane gank, you now no longer have your positioning on bot lane. You don't have your ults to protect yourself in bot lane either. So, for killing Light, you have lost yourself maybe a side lane out of turret and about 3 waves of farm. Maybe. We'll see how many they end up losing. But Karis without his ult means that he can't really do much here. Karis was in that brush, gets a chunk. But, I mean, you can't do anything more than that. Xiaohu can just ult towards them. Yeah, so it'll end up being a cannon minion. And a full wave before that. So a kill for 4 plates and a bunch of waves. Looks a little bit better for Waybo now. Does feel bad that Light had to die in that mid lane all the same, though. And this is one of the reasons why Xiaohu has still got himself a lot of gold. First turret might actually end up going towards Waybo. Ult lands on to Karis. There is a W for Vampire, but because the Zed blade misses, it does nothing. Okay, first tower taken by Galio. Galio very far ahead. Xiaohu's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. If Galio is kind of weak, you can kind of just rail through him. Just run through him with the Wukong, especially once he gets to Black Cleaver second item, and then the Aatrox as well. In fact, actually, Aatrox loves playing against Galio because of that, because once Galio's into the fight, the Aatrox can just kind of get that reset on the ultimate quite well if Galio's not that fed. So, game's quieted down a little bit. Any big item break points? Of course, first items across the board. We're really waiting for 2 items from Ezreal. I think 2 items from Wukong Ezreal, especially if you get the Black Cleaver in on a good timing from Monkey, could be huge. But of course, Monkey's behind on gold. Tian, some badly executed dives earlier, but still doing well enough. He's going towards a Starax. That'll be nasty to burn through. Bloodthirster for MF, of course, a big spike for them, because it means you get to keep up your W attack speed for a very long amount. And the move speed as well, rather. Until that shield is broken, can be very important. Herald spawning soon. Atakan is the Ruinous variety, so the permanent buff, not GA. Breeds Ambessa, very important in this game too. He's gone for the anti-heal item, gone for Executioner's Calling. That can be quite important, actually. Helps against Sundered Sky and the passive of the Aatrox. Good ward control from WE. They haven't stopped Breathe from getting in from top river, though. This could be a big problem. Remember, Tien does have himself a lot of gold right now. Not a good ult again from Hung. Come on, man. You got to do better than that on the Leona. Cube goes straight into the middle of the fight, as does Breathe, but Breathe has a Galio. Cube has no one. Poppy ult turns out the Galio, but I don't know whether that really helps. Tien gets a great turnaround onto the Aatrox, who is now down. Taunt from the Galio saves his teammate as Vampire goes too deep and meets the sunlight. WE fumble the team fight. Cube goes alone into the backline. Breathe had a friend, and that is the difference, really. No idea how Tien manages to survive through all of that, all things said and done. But he does all the same. Tien going towards the Herald. Mid lane getting pushed in. Very low health on Taeun. Karis might be able to get himself a combo here, but not going to be able to hit that E, and that's nasty. He's starting to switch between targets there. Taeun is going to jump forwards. Yes, he is, but you need to be a little bit careful there. Or do you barrier pop by Light? Great turnaround by Taeun. Get some damage back. So, Herald just about to be finished by TM. Dragon spawning now. Has spawned. But WE felt like they were gifted a good fight there. Hung another bad solar flare from him. Tien goes straight in. Vampire misuses his W. That's already a problem. Means that the Zenith Blade could come through. Uses the Herald to get out of there. But another battle from Hung. Come on, man. You got to do better than that. And as we said before, there is a tale of two top laners. Breathe goes in with the Galio. Yes, the Poppy ult punts him out, but I actually think that Poppy ult saves the Galio, because at least you could turn around onto them. That's a bad Poppy ult for me. And then he flashes forward, doesn't get the wall stun, dies. So Vampire, good escape from the initial play, but then bad ult, bad ending to the fight. Not the best fight from the Poppy, who didn't get laning phase value. Struggling to get teamfight value now either. Feats of Strength, completed by Waybo, of course. Helps them with those extra stats. Dragon now for them too, so 1 dragon apiece. Right, so WE, I guess they hold on for 2 items and see what comes around that. Problem is, the Wukong's not getting to 2 items particularly quickly, and that's a big part of your spike. That is potentially a big fight coming through from Breathe. Taeyun dodges everything. Really well played from him. Can you jump forward and do any more damage? Needs to be a little bit careful here. Doesn't have his ear as flash up right now. Good damage back. Taeyun, good Ezreal performance so far. Of course, he was an oft-maligned player in LCK. Been okay here in LPL. Well, better than expected, I suppose, but I'm not going to say he's had, like, the best play ever. Light getting some good damage through. Bloodthirster means he can be a bit more ballsy about this stuff. Can you please be normal about feats in my in chat? Yeah, we got the Grippers of Strength, claimed by Waybo. Oh god. Well, at least I don't have to talk about rabbit holes again. Alright, so what happened here? This is a play which happened off screen. Xiaohu went in. Oh, I guess they just killed Vampire. Right, he just died. Fair play. Good teleport from Xiaohu. We are so normal about feats of strength here. Monkey. Looks like he's going toward... Monkey. Got himself that pickaxe in inventory. He's getting a little bit more powerful. Cube. Shojin coming up from next up. Oh, Starks rather, yeah. They build it the same build path I forgore. I'm actually pretty bad about fighter items now. I haven't played Fighter Champions for a while. Okay. Man, Karis's Aurora is not that strong as well. Worth noting. Is there any match tomorrow? Yes, there are. LPL basically is games every day. It's more unlikely for that to it's more unlikely for that to be a break day than than there to be a game day. We just play pretty much all the time here in the LPL. Roaming up again. Xiaohu in range. Yep. Going towards bot lane. Oh, both solo laners going towards the same option. Cube does have flash. Clips coming through. Does the taunt land? No, it doesn't. Here comes the ultimate. Maybe you should have comboed that up with it instead. Cube goes for that flash. Xiaohu, I think maybe you could have just comboed up with Breathe there. Waste the W a little bit. I guess the flash and the all out of Cube. And for the cost of that, nothing really. W don't force a fight anywhere. They can't really. Ah, another battle. Ult comes through from Light. And they start to hit down that turret with 6 grubs. Yeah, nice stuff. Remember, folks, if they get themselves the Ruinous Atacon, they basically have 7 and a bit grubs instead of 6 because of the way that Ruinous Atacon gives you 25% extra neutral objective damage. Not neutral objective buffs. Tien goes in. Vampire fells another W. He's really not been good with those Ws today, has he? He had a decent... yeah, he had okay games earlier in the day. This one feels like it's been his weakest so far. WE, oh man, if they lose this, they go to 0-3. Really not what they want to see. Of course, WE were a team that were last placed in their group in Split 1. Hang on, are they going to get spotted by the minions as they walk up? Does that happen like that? Ah, they see them now. Hang on a second, they should be able to see that. Yeah. They see that. The minions give them away. Xiaohu going up towards that. Are they going to be in time? Is there a teleport to come through? Not from Breathe. This is going to get a little bit dicey. Of course, it's the Ruinous one. Are we going to get jungle here in time? No, so it'll have to be a fight. And the Poppy ult comes through. Waybo just misjudged the map, and they won't get themselves there in time. Galio comes back through. The Poppy ult not meaning that much, but, I mean, the Hung doesn't go in deep enough, so it doesn't really mean that much anyway. Teleport coming through from the Aatrox. He's going to get immediately CC down. Remember, this is not the GA Atacon, so you don't get that extra ability. Another W fail from Vampire, so he has to flash out. Tien going forwards again. ult comes in from Breathe and forces the issue home. WE, they get themselves an Atacon, but it is not your Guardian Angel. It is just a hearse. WE get Atacon, but at what cost? It is a 5-for-none. Waybo put them in the dirt, and WE may have just thrown this game off of an objective sneak. Fastu, thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate it so much. As Waybo. Yeah, I mean, they didn't spot the objective going down at first. The minions gave them the heads up, which gets them into the fight. Vampire, not a great ult from him. Punts out the Galio, who flies just back in. Fails his W twice in that fight. Flashes out, does nothing. The support of WE really struggling in this game, but I suppose the whole of WE really fumbling in this one. It's a good sneak. It's a good sneak. Because it's the Ruinous, you can tank it a lot easier as a melee character. You don't get that healing aura, which kind of shreds you for so much. Hung goes in. Galio just comes straight back. Of course, the flowers are a big part of how you get value from the Ruinous too, and Waybo get that anyway, so they don't get the flowers afterwards. And watch this again. Vampire fails a W, gets completely burst out, and that's his fight over. Cube completely left alone. Then after this, gets caught out, which allows Breathe to get into the plate. I guess it could have been anyone that was hit. It's just a shame that it was Vampire, I suppose. And then a massive taunt from Xiaohu. Insane from him. God damn, Breathe on the Ambassadors was such a powerhouse today. Teleport comes in from Xiaohu. Bit of an early taunt channel there. Monkey caught out, has no flash, but not going to lead to that much. Just goes straight back out and start Baron spawning in a minute. Waybo, very, very happy with how this game is going now. Breathe, what an insane series of Ambassador games he's had. The first in this one, very, very powerful from them. The rundown looked so easy. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Just feels like Waybo just got that extra chase down potential. The Shinzan W and E's, the make it rain slows, the follow-up of everything, invests a million dashes. Yeah, it makes it very easy to play through the fight. Monkey doesn't even have himself 2 items yet. Said, oh, well, let's play for the 2 item spike. Well, they have it on most of the people, but they don't have a mid-jungle. They're so far behind. Karis doesn't have Shadow Flame. Monkey doesn't have his second item either. So what happens now? Tien could just jump in again, and they find them as the turret falls. Karis jumps out, but he can't do anything to save the Poppy. Vampire has once again died. A difficult game from the support team WE as Waybo don't even need a Baron. They got 6 grubs. They can walk up and destroy these towers so effortlessly. W an inhibitor broken without the aid of a Baron buff. X-Gate out from Xiaohu. As he'll go to clear out that top wave potentially. Baron is up and available. That'll be the next objective for Waybo to try and claim. The Petals is the reward, but it's given to, if it's given to the opponent, what's the point of killing Atacon? Yeah, I mean, you do get a burst of them for killing the objective itself, which is why they're not, like, completely far behind. But yeah, there is a whole, like, grove of, a meadow of the Bloody Roses, which come through afterwards. So yeah, WE, decent objective timing sneak, but then they completely fall apart around the fight. They can't take any of the flowers, and well, that's it really, isn't it? If it was the GA version, maybe they could fight afterwards, but even then, I don't trust them to win a fight. They're 9k down at this point, of course, but even before that, they were felt like their power spike wasn't online. They were playing against very strong Galio, who, Xiaohu's had a great game on the Galio. Very good game on the Galio. Been in the right place at the right time. I think Xiaohu, as a mid laner, as a player, I think of as a macro powerhouse. Very good at putting himself in the right place at the right time. Last couple of years, he's taken a bit of a backseat in that side. His side lane is still be good, gotta say that. Even though he's been the defensive side of the side lane a lot of the time in the last year or two. He's been playing with no resources, trying to absorb pressure, turn up to the fight at the right time. Allow Breathe instead to really be the main carry. Baron setup starting to come through. Now, Vampire typically is the person that sets up the wards. He's not been allowed on this side of the map. He's died an awful lot. Oh, Xiaohu, another missed taunt. Yeah, okay, his taunts haven't been the best this game. A little bit of early channels. Vampire puts the ward over the wall. Has flash, has ult. Watch out for that Poppy ult. That could be the one thing which really turns the play. Force someone out of the play. Those haven't been fantastic this game either, actually. Breathe misses his ult. And now he's left himself in a big fight. Cube, you don't want this fight, though. You need to be very, very careful of that. Yeah, he missed his ult. Does not mean you were very happy. peel away from it. Dragon spawning in a minute. Would be soul point for Waybo, not the soul itself. 2,000 damage already from Breathe. Oh, Breathe's Ambassador. It has been a beauty to watch that champion. Baron started up again. Most of the ults available from WE. 3 big ones missing from Waybo. Oh, Breathe doing a nice thing here. He's just not using his passive dash. So Vampire loses all of his HP. Oh my god, that's a lot of work. Wallstone comes through, but now Vampire needs to use his ult early, and now suddenly he doesn't have his ult for the Baron. So what happens now? Monkey has flash, has ult, could look for a Baron steal, and that should be the objective. Good ult coming across from Taeyoon. Karis might look to burn him down. That's a good combo to Light, and Light dies. The AD carry's gone, and Karis has done his job. Here comes the ultimate coming through from the Galio. That saves part of the fight. Taeyoon's jumped forwards, but now he doesn't have a way out. The Ezreal jumps in to his demise. Yes, the Bunny gets a kill onto Misfortune, but that will not be the game-changing play. WE have fallen apart. They have been outstatted. They have been outgunned. And WE have fallen apart again. Teleport onto the Nexus coming in from Xiao, who says, yeah, I've got enough damage. I've done 5,000 damage in the team fight. Xiao, fantastic game on the Galio, channeling some 2017 vibes from him. The turrets will go down, and WE will be 0-3, whereas Waybo finished their day off at 2-1. Leaving us with one last game of the day of our first round robin of Group A. So important are these games for seeding into the next stage. W at 0-3 have set themselves up for a very... Aatrox and the Leona diving, and the Renata becomes good again. And On gets himself a good Renata angle, which I don't think he had before that Nocturne was through. I think if it's a Sejuani, I think the Renata struggles a lot more because you can throw your ult and Q backwards if you even want to trade ult for ult. That's a Poppy jungle. Yeah, the Poppy jungle is locked in. And I know that Poppy is pretty good in Sejuani in that jungle, but it's not the best thing ever. I think that really the Poppy in jungle has that early spike, and then the full build Poppy, you hit level 3, and then suddenly your the full build Poppy is level 3 with like a red buff. You're pretty good to go. Last game of the day, folks. It's been a long one. 6 best of ones. The same will be happening over the next few days, so make sure you're tuning in at the same time the games happen today, wherever you are in the world. BLG looking to finish off their first round robin with a 3-0. EDG wanting to get themselves a positive win rate to go 2-1. That one matched them alongside Waybo. If they lose this, they're still third in the group, ahead of WE, who bombed out 0-3, struggled streets for them. As we get ourselves closer towards the Rift. EDG have fallen from grace somewhat. Maybe they can claw themselves a little bit back. Well, BLG, they've got a little bit of clawing back to do themselves. Didn't even make finals last split. Standard lanes, though, are back. New split. New chance to put on a new coat of paint onto the Rift last time today. Let's hear those gyros. Let's see that Rift one last time until tomorrow. Nothing particularly crazy about our level 1s. We had Leona go out, presumably put a ward and recall for a sweeper. Or do the other thing. Oh no, they might have just gone top side and then recalled. I didn't even spot what happened to level 1. That's bad of me. I should do better on that. Knight electrocute build. Yeah, it's kind of standard now. Phase rush for Talia. No, that's standard too now, thinking about it. You hit your combo in a Q and then you can run backwards. Often what would happen is Talia would hit you with a combo and then you'd all in her. So Phase rush stops that all in coming through, means your trading pattern can be much more safe. Early invade from Xiaohao. Knight can't really do that much. And that is a smite away from Xiaohao. That does mean neither of them hitting level 2 off of that. If you get everything, but I think if you take one small raptor, you still hit level 2. The other person does. Good invade coming in from Xiaohao, though. Nocturne, surprisingly good at early invades, because the whole thing about Nocturne is that you actually do a ton of damage. It's just hard to stick on someone, because you don't have a Lee Sin Q to stick to a target. But if you walk into a Nocturne, it feels really, really pretty bad. So, see how Wei can get back into that. Angel, good Q target. Q accuracy, that. Angel's Talia, as we said, pretty damn good over time. Knight picking up decent farm here. Knight on a Kali. Always a treat to see that. Not the easiest thing to play into Leona Talia. Stun into the anti-dash can be pretty nasty. Xiaohao goes away from topside after taking 2 camps. Well, 1 of the bit camps. Then goes towards his bot side. So Wei would love to get access to Xiaohao's early topside. Might not be the easiest case though. Now, big thing about this is that Xiaohao can go from topside down to bot side. And you can potentially go and mess around with bot lane. And that's important because Elkanon have been pretty bad at disconnecting that. Wei has an angle into here though. Gets over those rocks. Flash comes in from Angel. I don't think that's going to lead to a kill. Flash only, but the amount of HP taken means that Knight has a really good position now in mid lane. Xiaohao not around bot side for now. Winking on. Decent trade through first. Heal comes through early just in case there was an ignite to come through. After that, worth noting that Elk has gone for the on-hit build. Wonder whether this could have been a poke angle. I think I know that, look, poke Varus would have been, you know, worse with the Renata, but it's still, you know, put it this way, Viper would have gone for it because he's so good at that poke Varus. So maybe Jack looks, he's been a big player of that too. Wei on top side. He's level 3. He is full build Poppy. Can he get... No, ZDZ's positioning away from the wall, which makes things a little bit harder, but the grounding comes through and he can't flash. Flash forwards from Xiaohao, and he'll get himself a kill in return. No wall stun, and now Xiaohao full stacks that Conqueror. Xiaohao, you have to feel getting the better of the early jungle matchup in this last game of the day so far. 1 kill, some CS taken. He has a lot of camps to take himself to. There is even a chance he could go for the Raptor retake, but I think that'd be a little bit dangerous with Knight being able to teleport back with full HP if he wanted to. Not bad though from Xiaohao. Ooh, turret shot goes on to Elk, and now the ignite comes through. Another poor 2v2 coming through. He can't get himself the bailout as Wink lives. Arn and Wink reunite after a year apart. And they get themselves a 2v2 versus Elkanon versus Varus Renata. That good a laning duo. Elkanon, some blushes today in this bot lane. Not even being spared by the rest of the team. Wei Elkanon, often where the microscope goes onto BLG when they struggle as a team. And today has been no different. Good game from Elk the last time. Great combo, a great draft from him to just play completely safe. But it does feel like Elkanon there. Cheap kill to give up. Taking a tower shot under that. Winking on. Great punish. I guess we'll see a replay of it. So what happens here? On gets caught alongside Elk. And what happens here? Elk ends up taking a tower shot. Handshake comes through. Not onto Wink though. Elk can't get himself the final kill. Neither does the final auto. So they don't even turn one back. Flash available for On, and that's it for the summoners down there. EDG, good advantage in that bot side. As we were saying, EDG are not a bad team. Great punish from Wink, though. Honestly, great punish from Wink. But still, you shouldn't be taking tower aggro there. You should have your, you know, auto attack off, basically. Auto attack off. And Xiaohao has been having a great early game too now. See what he can do. Thank God no Ambassa or Rumble. Ambassa and Dumble. Oh, that's good. I appreciate those. That's good. I appreciate that. back to Nymaera Initialise. I guess there's no Renekton in there. Hang on a second. They don't see the enemy jungle in here. On Elk, you have to be so careful. Once again, they're not reading the minimap. Wink walks up, gets handshook away. On flashes through, but I think he could be in trouble anyway. Xiaohao's so fed, so powerful, and once again, Elk and On do not have minimaps, and they walk up and they die. They did not track the enemy jungle well enough. Maybe it's a whole team issue, not spotting out where Xiaohao is on the map. But clearly, LPL teams have zeroed in on the fact that Elkanon can become disconnected from the map, misjudge where the enemy jungler is, and get punished. Is there a teleport to come through? Knight has level 7, and he has himself a flash and ult. Wei is actually not that tanky here. There is a chance of something nasty happening. Arn, I don't know if there's that much to be happening here. Oh, there is. Yes, there is. Electrocute comes through from Knight and gets them a kill back. Now the overstay comes in from Arn and Wink. But it does start by BLG having that oft-seen weakness in that bot lane, even when they're in positions of power. Elkanon not judging the map well. Takes Way and Knight to recover that one. Bin's having a good time in this top lane laning phase, at least. Xiaohao takes the grubs on top side. Dragon for BLG, so early objectives traded. Huh. Interestingly enough, something which I hadn't realized. A triple tonic picked up by Elk. Means that he'll get himself a little bit more gold from the farming one. He has that one elixir of power, which is the one in inventory right now. And at level 9, he'll get himself an extra ability point as well. Gets him ahead of the curve. That is not something I've seen on Varus before. It's good to see. Bin, walking up, uses that hop, has the Mega Nast primed and ready. Neither bot lane respecting ganks. Well, yeah, I think Arn and Wink on that, they overstayed pretty badly on that last one, not gonna lie. But I hold BLG to high standards, and when I see this typical error coming through, I know that the best teams in the world can exploit it. I know that they can. And I want BLG to show that they have evolved past that point. It has been an issue since this era of BLG. All the way back in 2023, it was a big issue for them. And basically their solution was, look, we'll play a winning bot lane and a jungler that goes bot lane to level 3. So they play like Lee Sin, Xin Zhao. Even when it came around to the Zyra era, they would just run bot lane. And they just babysit that bot lane. And that worked for them because it meant that you don't have to worry about being disrespectful at that point. If you play like a jungler's always there, when they actually are there, it becomes a lot. Hang on, 1v2 up in this mid lane. Oh, nice run stuff. That's a lot of damage coming through. But here comes the Nocturne. Xiaohao comes in, and it is a wonderful play from the jungler of EDG to punish Knight. But it's not enough. It's not enough one way or another. And the Ezreal also goes wide. Knight just about makes it out safely after initially going in with a 1v2. The angle was there from the Akali. I could see it. Angel forced the flash. And suddenly the pylon comes in mid lane. Xiaohao very, very nearly flexing the muscles enough to kill Knight. EDG coming to play seriously. They could get themselves to 2-1 and tie up BLG and Waybo, giving us a 3-way tie for the top of the group, while WE sit at 0-3. God, that'd be awful for WE. Knowing that they're basically locked into last place at that point, would have to go minimum 2 wins in their last round robin, which would be very, very hard given the level of form seen from the other 3 teams compared to them today. What if 3 of them going 2-1? This is not the end of the group if everyone goes 2-1. Reminder, folks, that each team will be playing 6 games, but this is our first round robin. There will be a second round robin at some point after this. Great wall stun coming through. Oh, the Q just misses. The heal comes through as well. That is as close as it gets, folks. Hair's breadth away from that Talia rock landing. A hair's breadth of HP left on Knight after the heal comes through. God, it's so close. Yeah, but Ksenia, hopefully that explains it to you. The games today are not the only games for this group. This is Group A's first round robin. They'll be playing another day. And that will be, yeah, that'll be it after that. But each team will play 6 games. This will be the end of their first 3 after this one. Would you say either team sits on a scaling advantage? Well, that is a question, isn't it? Well, Varus isn't in the easiest composition. I think that Aatrox is pretty good into Varus, and Talia Ezreal outranged the Varus, especially as on hit. The Renata has a pretty good time into the Leona Aatrox Nocturne. Poppy's pretty good into Aatrox. That's a decent ult coming through there. Wink, once again, though, walks forward. Great peel play from Wink. He might end up dying for this one, but he does a really good job of buying time for his AD carry. Wink, really good position to just say, look, this is full contact team fighting. You go onto my carry, I slap you back, and that's exactly what's happening now. And here comes Xiaohao from BLG's own jungle. It's fantastic Renata ult, but it's not enough. Bin gets the kill, though, onto the Ezreal, so no AD carry. Will that be the difference? El goes onto his bailout, but I don't think it's enough. Knight does have himself an ultimate and will claim another kill. 3 for 2 so far, rather, excuse me, as Knight, while he's left on his own, they'll make it into a 3 for 3. BLG, I'm not sure they expected Xiaohao to come flying out of their own territory. The Hexplate Nocturne at this point in the game, so powerful. It's a 3 for 3 overall. Not really sure even who it benefits. Bin gets a solo kill onto the AD carry. It's a 3-1 Aatrox, though. So ZDZ's pretty happy with that one. Even in gold. I guess Bin getting some alone time on the tower, gets himself a plate. He'll be happy with that one, but the cost of that one is potentially giving over 6 grubs. BDG with 6 grubs. Maybe you have to favor them. In this state, BLG might actually give me a heart attack. Yeah, I can understand that one. Bin puts a ward over the wall, spots out where Arn could potentially hop to. Arn, look, I've been very happy to see him back, but he's had a bit of a rough time. And look at how Bin just completely saves his hop. Flashes after he hops to close the distance, flashes to carry it after that point. You can see ZDZ and Xiao have an absolute monster combo onto their NAD carry. Knight sadly has to go under turret, doesn't have another mobility ability to get out. He gets himself 1 kill, but that's it, really. Bin, Meganar alone on turret, does not have himself an op for another couple of seconds, and that might just be it. Can't clear out the wave, another kill. Renata's left on their own now. Not able to do that much. Who else is coming up? Way and Elk. Not really sure they can do much here either. Remember, EDG have 6 grubs. This is a good game from them. BLG find themselves falling behind. They did against WN, they could clutch it back. EDG, let's see if they can stay ahead in this case now. Xiaohao, wonderful game from him. Good day of games from him today. It's been a while since we could talk about Xiaohao to this level of positivity. His LGD days gave us something to be really excited for. Remember that Xiaohao and ZDZ went to Waybo early last year. And they only lasted a split. They kicked them after that. Wanted a different combo. And with Tarzan and Breathe, couldn't really blame them for that last summer. You're a hell of a combo coming through. So ZDZ and Xiaohao, both been mercenaries somewhat. Xiaohao, proving maybe he's a little bit more of a general today. Leading the charge, Bin, you can't hop over that wall. Face plants into the bot side. But Xiaohao, really good game from him right now. C03, feeling very happy about life. And it will be the Ruinous Atacant. Reminder, Ruinous Atacant with the 6 grubs, one of the most powerful things in the game. The Kali, 1 item spike, powerful for them, their Proto Belt. Not the easiest game though so far for the Akali. Going into Angel's Talia, not the easiest of tasks. Angel is a very accomplished Talia player. World finalist, of course, back in 2020, largely when he was playing Akali and Azir, LeBlanc as well. That was his choice of picks back then, really. Ult onto On as Angel flew forwards. On forced to use both summoners. Not great there, actually. BLG really need all of the tools they can get. Feels like they're bleeding in that summoner economy. Cooldown economy. Reminder, we said this earlier today with Waybo versus BLG. This is the region of cooldown economy. Xiaohao hovering in the wings. Level 11 Bin. Meganar coming soon. Not really sure Xiaohao can do that much here. Meganar bar was a little too high. Pulls off of that plate. Elk versus Arn in the mid lane, 1v1 of that. Ezreal versus Varus. Arn getting himself the push right now. So one of the things that Poke Varus does better is push out mid lane uncontested, really. Way on bot side. The Poppy, not been that successful either, folks. Did worry a little bit about that. Could aim for a wall stun here. He's in range. If ZDZ walks forwards, might not be the case. Can he get it? Oh, he does. Wall stun comes through. Handshake will come through soon after that. Well under popped, and some healing comes through. That's a hell of a lot of healing from both the Sundered Sky and from the passive. That Deathbringer stance. Bin wants to get himself in there. Another Sundered Sky proc, but it will not be enough. ZDZ blows, flash blows, ults, and can't survive. Turret goes down on top side. On bot side as well, but still, first turret of the game goes over to EDG, and that will net them the feats of strength. BLG will have to contend against that now. Harold started up. Bin gets himself a lot of gold, but does feel like EDG not unhappy with the tower trade of all things. Angel, of course, getting a lot of that gold. We're very happy with that. Reminder, I do keep an eye on chat. If you have anything you'd like to impart onto the castle, just say hi. Join the LPL community. Feel absolutely free to do so. It's an absolute blessing to be able to cover the LPL, especially with channels like Onivia restreaming us as well. It means an awful lot to have a bit of the LPL community here enjoying these games.
Angel in a very fair point of power now. Very happy with how his game's going. This Talia could be a real carry pick. Can stop the Akali having strong players. Has the Seraph's already in there. The Leandry soon to come after will be a big damage spike, and the HP makes you more survivable too. Good to see you, Ekio. Arn doing a good job of holding this mid-section of the map. Needs to be a little bit careful with the Varus ult. Doesn't want to walk up to get Varus ulted, blow that cleanse. Dragon up soon. EDG don't want to lose that much HP. They want to poke out if they can. Mind you that the Varus is not a poke Varus. It doesn't do as much damage from range. Needs to get a little bit more up close and personal with the on-hit. 6 Scrub's doing a lot of work here. Yes, Dragon is spawned, but if you can use the Herald hit, this will now one-shot the tower. You can't stop this from going through. That'll be it. Mid lane turret down. BLG falling behind strategically. Mid lane pushed in. That's a Paranoid going onto the Gnar, who's not got any mini. The Fear Tether has broken, and the flash combo missing from Angel. Bin somehow survives on that side, and it's such an important survival. No Mega Gnar. Would have been dead if the CC had hit, but survives all the same. Now Dragon started up. Yes, they lose themselves in mid lane out of turret, but they'll get themselves to Hextech Soul Point. From what was looking like a losing scenario, BLG playing themselves a hell of a thick silver lining. Thick with 3 C's. It's like C for silver. That's how the word is spelt. Yeah. BLG. Good little victory at the end of that play. Of course, they don't have the mid lane out of turret on the other side, which is a bit of a pain. Does mean that Elk needs to be very careful when he's walking up mid lane now, because he has to go up against mid lane. Hi guys. He used to go up in mid lane against the Nocturne. He's level 11. Hexplate and the Black Cleaver. That's a hell of a lot of damage, actually. Yeah, the Varus does not want to go into that. Go anywhere alone on the map. You can't go too far away from tower. It's so nasty to play against that Nocturne. Soul Point is scary, spelled entirely with C's instead of S's. I'm glad you're learning from our English class here. You know, as an English native speaker, I feel like I can instruct you all so much in the English language. Especially when I'm so correct about everything I do in the English language. Bin, 1,000 gold ahead, doing really well. That's a good stop, though. He was on a ward, but that's a lot of members. EDG might have overestimated themselves. There is not enough healing in this Aatrox's tank, and he goes down for free. Overestimated, thought they could get a pick off on the wall, and EDG get punished hard. He's gonna get stopped on the save recall. On, buddy. Getting stopped on your recall there once is fine. A second time, maybe not, folks. English, what a terrible language. Yeah, I know, right? Mikhail's an honest worth noting. Definitely helps when you're against single target Leona stun. Even helps if you get comboed by the Talia as well. Xiaohao on the bot side has himself an ult. That's no Mega Gnar for Bin. Wei cancels his ult with the recall. We'll go down to quick part of that cooldown. Wow, did that instantly come off cooldown? I didn't realize that was how it worked, actually. Oh, no, it does. It goes into a slow cooldown. It goes onto a third of it, I think it is. Good shadowing by Wei, as opposed to sonicking, which is going very fast. And picking up rings. Doran's ring poppy confirmed. Dark seal poppy confirmed. Nothing to fight over right now, besides the Atacana, I suppose, which is on the top side of the map. So it's not necessarily the most important thing. Arn has those 2 items. So he's pretty happy, all things said and done. Has your 2 item spike. One of the strongest in the game. Elk kind of playing as though he has poke Varus, but you can't exactly play up and close to personal against the Azrael like that. You walk at him, he just cues you and jumps away. Very antisocial is Azrael sometimes. From a non-native speaker, why do silent letters exist? Often because they've evolved from words where they weren't silent. Just over hundreds of years, it would have been pronounced differently in Middle English or Old English or in various Germanic or Proto-Indo-European roots. Sometimes it does stretch back as far as that. For instance, something which is interesting about that. You know how you have a lot of old pub signs and stuff like that, which say ye, or like here ye, that kind of thing. Obviously that's got a Y, Y-E. You know, that's not what the letter initially was. The Y used to be a thorn, which was kind of like a straight stick with a line out the side of it. And that was TH, that was the. So instead of ye, it was the, which is what we use the for now. We just accidentally changed thorn into Y because of spelling errors over time. So ye should really still be the, spelled with a thorn. That's your fun fact for today about the English language. Also, fun fact, in Nottingham, there's a pub called the Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem, or the Old Trip to Jerusalem, which was, I think, made in the 700s. One of the oldest pubs in the world, that is. A little confused on the different cast. That can happen sometimes, Swayara. I'm on my own for this time. It's, Sam normally comes in to help with this one. Of course, I've been casting the LPL for 3 years now. Since 2023. I think this year I'll be casting my 1000th LPL game. It has been a long time, it feels like. Although it's not been long as some. But still, BLG been a big hallmark of that. You know, my casting journey really saw BLG's rise to fame, really. Started in spring 23, where they were a middling team, always going 1-1 every week, going 3 games in every series, and then Tabe came in and then elevated them to a team that could reach finals in LPL, finals in MSI. Doing a great job in summer as well. And then after that, when Knight came on board, God, they turn on the afterburners, really. Dragon Spawn now, Soul for BLG on the table. Remember that Nocturne, so very, very powerful. Alk on his own, needs to be a little bit careful there. Where's the Mega Gnar bar? It's at 0 right now. I think they're just pointing that out. Checking out some wards, making sure that he's not been spotted heading down towards that objective. Vision Control, name of the game. Ezreal 2-item spike, strong. Xiaohao, of course he has the semi-global. He can kind of walk up in this mid lane. Keep forcing down. So important for BLG to use this time well. They don't have to take the dragon, but they want to get something for it. But as it stands, they're looking for the fight. Bin holding a second angle, making sure that the Talia can't just shut off the fight. Dragon started. Ezreal forced away, but Xiaohao still here. It will have to be. A Smite Sealer comes in, and it is taken by the Poppy. Hextech Soul, and the slows and damage comes through. BLG get what they came for, and I think they'll be leaving with a couple of kills extra as well. Knight gets another Hextech Soul proc down, goes straight onto the Leona. Wink and you miss it, goes down. More of the blink of death, really. Those eyes are not opening again. EDG, they flub the setup. Knight goes around the side and has flash, and he goes through with a Protobell. Angel is met with a Knight of Death. Triple kill for Knight Sakali. Clinical as you like, a smile on his face and a Hextech Soul in his back pocket. BLG will go straight towards that dragon. Screw the Atacama, they'll get themselves the Baron itself. And EDG may have just seen the game completely slip away from them. Nymaera finally living up to Far East legend with 1000 sounds legendary. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, Knight, what a player. He has become, over these last years, one of my very favorite players to ever play the game. I was a little late onto the train than some, but Knight, God, what a player he is. Way starts off proceedings very well. The damage isn't there. That 2-item Ezreal not able to determine how this fight goes. You have to go for the Smite Steal at that point. He misses it. Shame on Xiao here, really, but can't really do that much. Way tankier than I gave him credit for. He goes straight across the Talia field. Doesn't really make that much of a difference after that point. And because it's a full retreat, Knight gets a full chance to just do whatever the hell he wants. Kill onto Wink. And the fight just keeps on going. Bin forces out the E with the Hextech Soul. They're slowed in with that Chain Lightning, and Knight comes straight over the wall. Oh, that's nasty as heck. Protobelt to close the distance to triple kill over to Knight. Death Cap, Protobelt, Shadow Flame, a 9-stack Dark Seal. Knight is ready to hunt some heads. And now suddenly that Hextech Soul gonna get even more powerful. With the Renounced Atacama, it does affect the bonuses you get from neutral objectives. That does include the Soul itself. And of course the attack speed and the cooldown reduction you get from those Hextech Dragons. The heal and shield buyout value, and the tenacity from the single Chemtech, and the out of combat movement speed from the Cloud Soul 2. 35 petals as well to the name of BLG. They are very, very happy. Remember, that gives you adaptive force, and that'll get amped up by the Death Cap of Knight. Now you're thinking like an arena builder. One of the biggest things about Arena is just getting random ability power shards and then getting a Death Cap on top of it, and it gets really nasty. Karuru, I think, has the right of it in chat, by the way. There's some chat about You know, Knight giving some poor performances over the years. And yeah, I think actually maybe that's misjudged sometimes. Not all the time. Yeah, I think particularly, I think Worlds 2020 was definitely... Oh, good damage onto Elk from Arn. Now suddenly the play is on. The Poppy W comes through, waits out the Poppy ultimate, and Xiaohao goes on a one-man mission, which leads to the death of Elk. ZDZ cleans it up. It's a good play coming in from the Renata ultimate. Knight into the backline, but I don't think he can carry this now. And indeed, he can't. Knight flies in and gets absolutely swatted. Is it enough with Bin with a Mega Gnar stunned by the minefield, and I think BDG might have found themselves the fight. ZDZ gets another bailout ticking in. Bin gets one kill, and the bailout comes through. BLG trying to play through into 3v3, but they don't have their two main Darish dealers. And that will lead to a 2 for 3 in favor of EDG against the run of play. BLG, after a fantastic combo from Arn onto Elk, pounce and make this game a bit more of an open question again. Great combo from Arn. If that combo from Arn doesn't come through, that play is not available. Great burst onto Elk, who then suddenly has to play retreat. Watch this again. Single Q. W, E, Q afterwards, I think, as well. No, not quite, but it takes him out to half HP, and the go button's just on at that point. Wei uses all of the disengage he has. The W times off. Nocturne, Aatrox goes straight on towards that Varus. This is one of the things we said earlier, actually. About the scaling question. Oh, this minefield just comes up. Oh, he can't quite get it. His ult, I think his ult gets cancelled. His ult gets cancelled by the W of Aatrox. Tight timing. He starts his R2 animation and the W pulls him back. That is the worst possible timing. Almost kills the Ezreal. So close. Could have got another kill in there. Oh, so close. BLG still with the advantage. Elder spawning in a minute. They have themselves Ruinous at Khan. 4 dragons, which leads to a Hextech Soul. Still in control, but worth noting. All right. BLG not wanting to have a repeat of that. That being said, how likely is it for them to have a repeat of that performance where Elk has all of his health deleted before he can do any damage himself? Going in towards the last inner turret here now. Taken down easily. Dragon in 40 seconds. BLG wanting to pave the way over to the Elder Dragon with wards. Not wanting to give EDG any really angles in there. Angel's in a good spot. 3 items. Void Staff on top of it. Using naturally damage away in Bin. 3.5 items for Arm. Doesn't have himself the Cyrildas. Does mean he's a little bit less able to kill tanks, but we saw how much damage he could do onto Elk. Gets a WE and a Q. Suddenly that's most of the HP gone, isn't it? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, solo casting is a thing which I've had to learn. I'm not a play-by-play by trade, so I have to learn how to get loud in the right way, folks. But still, good skills to learn. Wink. Hextech Soul, putting him under threat, has to flash out of the Varus ultimate. Flash away from Leona. Not the best thing ever. Can't get out of the fight now, and it's easy to get pinned into it. One of the worst things about Hextech Soul. Flash forward, and Wink doesn't have himself a flash now. As we said, once you get into the fight, you are stuck into it. Wink goes down. Both eyes shut. Goes back towards the base plate, and that might just be the opening towards the Elder. Xiaohao spotted on the red buff, and Akali starts to go in. Angel has no extra ability to defend this one. Knight goes potentially around onto the flank. Another kill comes through. Elk has to flash away, though. Some good damage came in from Arn and from Angel. The E comes down from Ezreal. We'll have to cool down back up again soon. But with no smite and no supporting cast, I think BLG will be very easily going up towards the Elder and taking that one. That should be potentially the last big fight of the game. No Elder Steel to come in from EDG. They do have an Ezreal, I suppose. It's coming in too early, though. It won't go down at that point. EDG lose themselves a couple of kills and the Elder. Much better setup from BLG this time. Even though Elk did actually end up having to flash and use his cleanse. Still, better setup, better execution from BLG. So this is after Leona already lost their flash. Flash for a slow, the Hextech keeps them slowed again. That's the right call. Leona can't escape that now. Can't escape that now. So then I think it's just a scramble at this point. God, maybe we get red buff, maybe we can get something. But BLG called their bluff again instead of running straight over towards the dragon. Both can get CC'd in, and they're too far away from their damage. Call out in chat as well as Lorindi's saying that Arn missed a lot of Qs. Yeah, he did. Not really sure it makes that much difference, though, at that point, sadly. Very, very hard to turn the fight at that point. Way walking forwards using the Hex Tech on the butt-clip. The Hex Tech butt-clip. Nasty stuff walking forwards again. Remember, they have Elder now. That extra damage racking up and up can be so powerful. 2-level advantage to jungle. Way's been much more powerful than I thought, you know. Much better in the late game than I thought. BLG making good use of that Poppy. Bin level 18 has an Elixir of Iron as well. The Poppy ultimate trying to stop them from defending the towers potentially. Puts it on cooldown though. On, caught out by an ultimate, and Bin goes in and does the dirty work himself. Nocturne goes down, and the paranoia solely belongs to EDG. Another Elder Dragon burn comes through as Knight gets a kill. The combo's poorly timed as Knight does not go down to that and will take his second kill of the fight. BLG clean up the mess. Poppy ult takes a short hop flight, like Taylor Swift going to visit Travis Kelce. As BLG finish off the day